On today's episode of Wrong Side, the Buckeyes are national champions. The season is over. We did it. Jake Shcharber and I break down the game while Michael is stuck at work. He made it home for most of the game, but stuck at work and tapping in Jake today. Michael and I back in studio go over the NFL playoffs, the divisional round. The Lions are dead, and Ben Johnson is a Chicago Bear. Michael took a little recruiting trip himself to check out Charleston and Charlotte as Meg is on the residency recruiting trail. Clutch moment of the week brought to you by Schorr Metals and Outside the Line. In a world full of champions, we find ourselves on the wrong side. Welcome back, Wrong Siders. Today is a very special day. For the first time in a long time, and for some of us, maybe the first time ever, we are right siders. The Buckeyes are national champions. They have gotten to the top of the mountain. They did it. I truly cannot believe it. I did not believe it until the clock hit triple zeros. To take a look back, to take 2 seconds and think big picture about all the things that we've went through this season, even thinking about who I was as a human being before this season started compared to where we were now, the trials and tribulations, the things that have changed. Wow, what a year, what a game. Notre Dame hung in there a little bit more than I was expecting. It was a little stressful at the end, but a great day, obviously. A great ending and a historic day. Shout out Ryan Day. I know he's got a lot of shit. Shout out all these seniors. We'll go through it. Special thank you to these guys. This was a special season. First season of the 12-team playoff, the Buckeyes are champions. First season of the 14 playoff, the Buckeyes were champions again. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish haven't beat the Buckeyes in 80-plus years, and the colors are brighter today. So we have Jake Shcharber on. Michael stuck at the office. He was able to dip out for the game early. I know that was his wrong side last week, but Jake was on campus. Take us through. We'll break down the game first and then talk about the day, but start us off, Jake.
For sure. Let's definitely break down that game. Going into the game, I'm always nervous before every Ohio State game. Doesn't matter which game it is. We could be playing Marshall or Western Michigan or
Yeah.
Notre Dame like we were last night. But I think I was nervous. I was excited for the game to happen. Jumping into the game, it was right off the bat that our run out of the tunnel looked like our guys were locked in, ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Especially like kind of the pyrotechnics and everything that kind of when we ran out. I think that they've been doing well with that in all of the playoffs.
Agreed.
Right away, coin toss, they get to the center. Winning the coin toss, to me, I personally think, if you win the coin
Huge.
toss, you're already 1 point up. You're already
Exactly.
1 point up.
Me and Joe Looney went crazy. That's an early victory. It was awesome.
And the way I look back at it is we won the coin toss in the Texas game and won the game. And we won the toss in this game and won the game. Obviously, it wasn't the most ideal first drive on defense. They kind of ran that whole first quarter, basically.
Scary.
I was very frustrated every third down because you knew what they were going to do. It was either every third down or every fourth down. 3rd and 5, 3rd and 1. It's gonna be a draw play. It's just gonna be a QB draw with the quarterback, and we could not stop that for that whole first quarter. It got really annoying.
Really annoying. So Riley Leonard had 8 carries on that first drive. It was like 12 plays, like 9 minutes or something crazy. And every single time you knew it was coming, everyone knew it was coming, and it works. Like, they have a great O-line. I know they've had some injuries in their O-line just like we have. Riley Leonard, I know he's gotten like a lot of criticism this year, which is definitely fair, but even his running ability, is he like a big guy? Like, he doesn't do anything except for run forward. He pushes piles and he's strong, but he just puts his head down and goes 3 yards forward. Like, it's not, I don't know. Like, what do you think?
He has that. To me, I would say like the player comp I'm going to give him on that his running ability with just like bull rushing is he's got like that Josh Allen type of player. He just wants to just run through people when he has the field room for it. And I was getting so frustrated every third down because I kept saying, "Oh, I know what's going to happen, guaranteed." QB draw, boom, QB draw, boom. But I think that, and also I want to point out off that first drive, I saw a tweet today, and it was a video of him. He was so exhausted of how many times he had to run He threw up after the first drive.
I know. That was crazy. I guess he like landed on the football or something, but they showed that and we were like, I was nervous after that first drive, but
I was like, how did that
our
happen?
friend was I know. We were in so I was nervous after the first drive, but it was like that's the best drive of their life. Their quarterback's already puking. So it was a rough
Right.
first drive. But after you see that, you're like, okay, like we'll see what happens now that the game has actually started. So it was
Exactly.
a weird start. Yeah.
And somebody said to me before the game started, right before we started, they were like, "We're not going to see what happens in this game until both teams have a possession on
For sure.
offense and defense." And I said, "100%. I'm nervous, but we'll see what happens on our first drive." And I mean, we come out swinging, ready to go.
Hmm.
That was the Jeremiah touchdown, or was that
I
the
think it
Q's
was the
first?
yeah.
The Jeremiah touchdown, right? That was that first
Hmm.
play. I think
Yep.
we can fact check that.
I'm fact checking,
Uh,
but I think so.
I think it was the Jeremiah trick. I wouldn't say it was a trick play, but I kind of think it was a trick play because I mean
It was awesome.
he kind of came out of nowhere. Like I didn't see his route as the open man. I thought that was a great look by Will. I think his
Yeah.
vision that whole drive was really well. It also fired me up even more and showed that Jeremiah wasn't nervous at all when he ran into the end zone, threw up a little peace sign. He was ready
Uh-huh.
to go. He knew that was he wanted to score at least once in that game, and that was definitely what we needed, especially that type of play. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, ending the first, what was it, 7-7 after the first, or did we not score until the
7-7
second?
after the first.
7-7 after the first, yeah, 7-7
Yep.
after the first, and I wasn't as nervous. I calmed down a little bit. I was still nervous. I was still stressed out. I mean,
Hmm.
it's an Ohio State game. You never know which Ryan Day you're going to get. Obviously, we got a fired up Ryan Day, especially after that first drive. We were ready to go. I mean, Chip with that play call through that first drive was really good. I thought the run game was really well in that first drive. But going into the second quarter, obviously, I was, not satisfied yet because it was still 7-7. And I think their second drive, they turned it over, correct? I think
It went
not
so first
they
half
went
was
three and
for
out,
Notre
right?
Dame was it went touchdown, punt, end of half. And we were getting
Right.
the ball at half, so they
Yeah.
had
So they
one play on a screen. But yeah, we shut them down in the first half after
right.
that
We
first scripted drive.
right. They punted that first time, and I was like, okay, let's really see if we can settle in here. And that Q was just unreal. He was
He had a day,
so
yeah.
fast. He had a hell of a day. I think that first touchdown was the running touchdown. I think that was the first touchdown.
The first touchdown was Jeremiah. The second touchdown
No, his first
was
touchdown. His first touchdown was, I think, the running touchdown, not the
oh
catch.
yeah, it was correct.
Yeah, his first touchdown. My bad. His first touchdown was the running touchdown. He was running powerful. He wanted to get in there right away, and he looks into that camera.
Was
He's all
that the one where
fired
he
up.
dribbled the defender? He
I think that was
stiff
the
armed him, or was that late?
I think he's. I
Because you have
think that
three.
might have been that play. I'm not sure if it was that play or not,
Regardless,
but still,
Q had a day. Q
regardless,
had a day.
Q had a day, and it was 14-7. I was calm. I was a little more calm. Obviously, you can't be calm until we see triple zeros on that board at the end of the fourth.
Oh yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
I was a little more content. And then they punted again, correct? They punted again. And then we got the ball back again.
We got the ball again,
And
scored
then
a third time. That was the
we
catch
scored a third
for
time. That was the
Quinshon.
catch. Again,
21-7 at half.
21-7 at half. I think on that next drive we had drove down the field well. Will had great vision. And I think looking at it on that play at the goal line, I was getting pissed off because I was like, dude, just run the ball in. Like, we're right there and give it to Q
Yeah.
easily, or give it to Trey. Let him get in there. And there was nothing. And then we, and me personally, I get nervous when you're on like the 7-yard line or the 6-yard line. When you're throwing, I have the Seattle nightmare flashbacks in my head every time we're at the goal line and we try to throw. So that was going through my head. So I was a little nervous. But he finds Q somehow on that little, it kind of looked like he was like no look passing, because he
Yeah.
was so looking at the right corner of the end zone and nobody was there, and he was just like, oh, Q's there, here's a drop down, and Q scores. And then 21-7 at the half was a great start, and then we punted, I think, that next drive coming out of the tunnel.
Touchdown. 5 plays, 75 yards. What happened? So we went incomplete. Big Quinshon 70-yard run for the Notre Dame first down.
The 70-yard
Quick funny
run,
story there. So my sister and mom were with me for the game, and they were
Oh,
really
okay.
intent to gamble on the game. And they don't bet. I don't really
Oh.
bet that much, but they're like, we're going to do it. And I'm like, okay. So I'm looking at the book. Obviously, the book's ahead, and it suspends all the touchdown scorers and says first and
Oh.
goal Ohio State. I go, wait
Oh,
a minute.
no.
Look back up at the TV, and was like, oh my god. So I was ahead on that play, which was kind of electric. But
You bring up
I mean,
you bring up the betting thing. I think that's funny. My girlfriend asked me before the game. She goes, "Oh, do you have money on this one?" I go,
Uh-huh.
"No, I don't bet on my teams. I get too scared."
Oh my god, I was nervous. My sister, she put a 50 burger down, and that is unlike her. She doesn't bet at all.
Oh,
And she,
wow.
not even an Ohio State person. She went to Nebraska and just went down to drive down with
Right.
my mom. So she was as big of an Ohio State fan as I've ever seen her that day.
Hey, I
But the
mean, I
game,
love that. With the game, of
so we were
course.
up 28-7 at one point. They go for it on fourth down and change it. I thought we were good. I was looking on my phone. I was like relaxed, and Will Howard was great. 13 for 13 to start the game, I believe. I don't know if he
Right.
got higher than that. National champion record. They ran him a lot. At one point, I was getting a little nervous, but he was smooth. That pass to Q while on the run was like
So
insane.
smooth.
But then the demons started creeping back in, and I got
Yeah.
so scared
What
late in this
happened?
game.
Like the
The
defense, just
defensive
like
penalties.
like
Oh,
the
Iggy.
defensive
Oh,
penalties. Iggy. Oh my god. And like he was he did like barely played in the Texas game because he either got hurt or he got pulled.
oh yeah.
Denzel flagged like 2 flags.
Uh-huh.
I think he had a PI and
Even Downs, I
hit-
think, got a holding call.
Downs had a holding call too. That was ridiculous. I think that I mean the defense was so good all year, and obviously like we won, so I'm not mad. But
Yeah.
like in that situation, when you're up 21-7 or 28-7,
We are
when you're up
28-7 after
28-7,
the first drive in the second half.
you have to be a little more like conservative. Like, hey, let's just go play defense, but like let's not get flags. So I think, I mean, I was a little upset. I mean, he didn't get one yesterday because I really wanted to see him get another sack in this game with Jack Sawyer. He didn't get one
Oh
that
yeah.
I really wanted to see him get another one because that would have been, I think, one in each playoff game. I think that would have been one in each playoff game, I think.
Oh yeah.
And that would have just kind of sealed his legacy even more than it already has. But I think I mean, JTT was just kind of, we were getting killed on the lines at certain points. Like there was like 3 flags that should have been called, and they
Yes.
weren't called. Obviously, I mean
Of course.
SEC refs, so of
The
course.
whole bar was yelling. We got the one holding call and early in the game, and it was like it was as exciting as it
On the
was for a
pass
touchdown.
play, it was the
Almost.
pass play.
Yeah.
They got like good yardage. I think it was a first. They got a first down on that,
And it came back. It was
and
huge.
it came back. I said that. I was like, oh, there's a flag. And they throw it down first down. And then the flag, ticker comes up. And my buddy goes, wow, good call. I go, yeah, I mean, it was blatant. It was right there.
We think we
But
know.
no, and then they started climbing back. And I was getting even more and more nervous. And then I started to calm down a little bit. I was like, okay, I got to relax a little. Like, I have to trust our team. And then they came back and more. Then we scored.
Mm-hmm.
And we scored, and I was like, okay, I'm excited, but it's not over yet. Like, they're still climbing back, and then they climbed back again.
They're right there. Uh-huh.
I was like, this is not happening. I was like, this can't happen. Like, this would – I think every person – I think it would have been a scary scene in Columbus if we lost yesterday after they started climbing back. I would have been very scared, I think, personally.
It would have been for those of you listening that haven't seen any of the videos, check them out. It's hilarious how crazy the city was. I bet it would have been equally as crazy, but in a bad way, if we had lost after being up that big.
100%.
They suddenly Notre Dame, a team that's built just like Michigan, where they can run the ball, they can't really throw, and they play defense. Suddenly they're getting 50-yard touchdowns against us. We're missing tackles, and they're one score away. I was like,
the 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening? I literally am like sitting there, edge of my seat, watching, and like he throws the 50-yard pass and he breaks the tackle, and I'm like, oh my god, this is not happening right now. Like,
yeah,
I
it was
got that,
true, true PTSD of really the Georgia game. A lot of big plays in the fourth quarter, like
you're gonna,
right
okay.
in it.
I was gonna use a different play. I was gonna use. You remember that play Devontae Smith catches in the national championship against us? It was like the long ball Mac threw to him, and he just catches it, boom, runs into the end zone
Easy
to the corner. That's what that play kind of like reminded me of. He was just like so open and then broke a tackle and he was gone. I was like, this is not
Yeah,
happening. Like
there was
this can't
nothing
happen
behind
to
it.
us.
Yep.
So I
That
mean, then we get the ball back and it was 28-21 at that point, or were we
it
21
got to. So it ended up being
before the
31.
before the field goal? I'm saying. I
We
think
had
we're
actually, so
28.
we had a field goal early in the second half. So it was
Right.
30. It was 31-7, and then it was
31-7.
31-15, and then it was 31-23, and that was the 8-point deficit. We had. So I
Right.
was gonna say the second half we definitely like we were up 31-7. What do you do there? You run the ball, you get
Run the
conservative,
ball.
and you waste the clock. But I'm very critical. You've heard me. I am very critical of
You're
this team. I
you're
was
very
about to
critical. So
say
am I. So am
I was
I.
about to say that, man, we got conservative in that half. The offense let them creep back in it. We had
We
one
did.
punt. We had the fumble, which was tough,
We
but
did have
obviously we were
oh
driving,
the
and we
fumble.
had one
Oh,
punt the entire game. So
one
I
punt.
was nervous,
I think that
but
might be the best Ohio State stat line right there.
ever
I don't think we've
like
had one punt all year in a game. I think we punted a
yeah.
couple of times in some of the early games, but I think they started climbing back, and you touched on that. The fumble was I thought was almost like a momentum shifter. Like, oh fuck, like here we go
Oh
again.
yeah. It was either right
Like to
before or
me,
right
I
after
thought
was
it
that defensive
as
drive with all the penalties.
I
It was
mean
a bad couple minutes.
it was a bad couple minutes. I was getting more nervous. I actually like went to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom. I was like, I gotta go like before the play, and I didn't get back in time
Oh,
before the commercial
before
break.
the fumble.
So the speaker's playing while I'm in the bathroom. No TV, but it's not ESPN zone. But
Mhm.
still, it's playing, and I'm like, okay, like boom, catch, like I'm like a catch, and then they were like, and the balls were covered by Notre Dame. I was like, what just happened? I was gone for
Yeah, it was
10 seconds.
yeah, it was quiet. I didn't realize it's like a few seconds after the play was over. Like I thought it was like
Yeah,
it was a huge play. So
I
it was
saw that and
bad.
I was like, what the hell just happened? Like, how does this happen? And I was like, okay, like we're okay. Like, let's play defense. And then they scored, and then we got the ball back. And I just want to point out, magnificent, magnificent kicking from Jaden Philly. Awesome. I was so
Yes,
happy
you
when
see
he
him at the
kicked
end
the
of the
40,
game.
when he kicked the 45-yarder at the end. I was so pumped. I was so
Yeah,
excited
to cover
because
too. That was big.
to cover
Uh
even
huh.
better to cover. But not only that, but also after what happened at the Michigan game and what happened with every not trusting our kicker, like we wanted to go on fourth a couple times during the
Uh huh.
year. I think that was the perfect. This is why we've stuck with him. This is why he's our guy, and he solidified himself as the kicker of Ohio State. Like it was great.
Yeah.
I think I mean, top to bottom, awesome win, regardless of what the score was. We won. You can't be mad about that. I think the thing that was even more awesome is Jeremiah Smith in year one
Yes.
is
Year
getting a
one.
ring. And since we're talking about the winning aspect right here, I sent you the stat earlier today that Will Howard is the first quarterback as a transfer to win the national championship since Cam Newton in 2010.
I think
I
there's a
think
real argument that he's the best transfer of all time.
he
He's
might
up there.
be
He might be. You win it all. Obviously, like he goes to a super team, and everyone's going to discredit him for
100%, which
that.
is fine.
But he ends up in, I think, the top 25 all time in QBR for a season, top in Ohio
Right.
State history. There's four players: Quinshawn, Travion, Jeremiah, and Emeka, all with 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns each.
Right.
Like as far as
He might be
transfers
he might be
go,
the best transfer quarterback of all time.
of all
Like
time,
he solidified that in history for himself. But also like getting to see all these guys, especially, and you said we were going to touch on it, so I'll touch on it now. Seeing all these seniors win. I saw a tweet today. It was a video of a guy made an edit, and it was like guy talking about how it was like the background talking of Joel Klatt. It was the Joel Klatt. Oh, and they're returning of JTT Tulama and returning of Jack Sawyer and returning of all these guys were returning. And Ransom, and he's talking like that background, and it's showing like their pictures of I'm back, I'm coming back, I want to come back and win.
yep.
And just seeing them get to lift up that trophy at the end of that clock was just so sweet to see. and they deserve it so much. And this is why Ryan Day is the head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, because he took a group of guys. Not only, yes, they're the super team, they're like the
For
Avengers,
sure.
but
Yes.
he took a super team who was distraught. You lost a 13-10 game to most people. That game matters. I think it doesn't matter as much anymore, but we can get into that in a second.
All right.
And he took a team that was distraught, that got their field disrespected, that they were just disrespected by losing to the team up north. And he went like this. All right, back to work. Boom. Fired off. Goes and absolutely destroys Tennessee. Boom. Goes and fires and destroys Oregon. Boom. Goes and wins again on the road.
Yeah.
In Texas, against Texas. Like, he somehow, I don't know what he did or what kind of magic he was working or what kind of Mamba mentality he put into and injected into his guys, but those guys found something in that loss in November and took it throughout the entire playoff run.
Yeah. It was special. I think Ryan Day has proven he's one of the most resilient guys in the sport, if not maybe of all time, because not only are you the head coach of Ohio State, you have all the best players. Everyone says you should win every game, but
100%.
it might be the hardest job in the country to have. Saban, he was able to, by the end of it, when we really knew him, he had enough championships where he could really do no wrong. Ryan Day,
100%.
He's been knocking at the door for years, and he's been eating shit the entire way as one of the most
100%.
winning coaches of all time in college football. So I'll go through the list of seniors that decided to come back, forego a lot of them some good NFL money and opportunity to come back and play for Ryan Day, because he took a lot of shit. I think he needed it. I think this team needed it. And I think they needed that loss. You said it's
100%.
not as special. We can debate that all day long. We'll talk about it. But here, 15 players decided to come back. 15 notable guys, or maybe some others that I'm missing. Jack Sawyer, JTT, Tyleik Williams, Denzel Burke, Lathan Ransom, Jordan Hancock, Emeka Egbuka, Travion Henderson, G. Scott, Cody Simon, Will Howard transfer, but he'll be gone. Seth McLaughlin transfer, but he'll be gone. Obviously, Caleb Downs, but he's coming back. Josh Simmons, Donovan Jackson. He was supposed to play guard, right, and move to tackle.
Right.
Donovan Jackson, maybe biggest unsung hero of the season, had like top 100%. 5 pick potential to play left guard. We had our stacked O-line to start the year. Our left tackle goes down. And there's a couple week conversation. I don't think it was the first week that it happened. Is will Donovan Jackson move to tackle, or will that hurt his NFL stock? And a selfless moment, moves out of position, has a great season there. Unsung hero of the team. Josh Fryer, another lineman. 15 players come back. And we've now seen with Ohio State and Michigan last year, fully senior teams, guys who believe in each other and what they're going for, coming back, foregoing NFL opportunity, many of them. And obviously, likely Judkins and Igbinosin may be gone next year as well. So that's 17 guys, pretty much all
unless
starters.
Unless they want to stay.
Unless they want to stay.
NIL. We'll give you a little more NIL if they want to stay.
Yes, please. That'd be amazing. But it was a special season. A lot happened. You cannot give enough props to Ryan Day, to Jack Sawyer for kind of leading that group of seniors.
100%.
Ryan Day's first recruit as the Buckeyes head coach. And I would be remiss as not to mention this. January 20th, the day of the national championship game, was the anniversary of Ryan Day's father committing suicide. And I don't know if it was necessarily like hidden from the media. It wasn't a big story heading into the game. Obviously, it's a very sensitive topic. But to have that as kind of like the cherry on top of this day and this season, and just to see Ohio State and Notre Dame, for that matter, just two groups of guys who just love each other so intently and got there essentially on willpower. I mean, Notre Dame lost to NIU, and every other year they wouldn't be in the college football playoff. Neither of these teams were ranked in the top 4 and had to battle a ton throughout the year, injuries, noise outside the locker room, all that good stuff. And they got there. Like, these were two special groups. So, like, what a game, what a playoff.
They definitely got there. Let's say that for sure. And all I'm going to say now, and Michael said it last week, that he's happy for Ryan Day, Ryan Day's wife, Ryan Day's whole family, and his kids, and everybody who's really close to Ryan Day, because he really needed this win because of how much hate after the Michigan loss that he got, and I'm happy that he won not only for himself and the whole state of Columbus, the whole state of Ohio, and city of Columbus, and just his entire family, because I know they probably wanted this, I think, a little more than all of us because
Yeah.
of how scrutinized they were after the loss. But I'm very happy for him, of course. And all I have to say now is, and I'm going to probably be judged by this comment, but Urban won, day one in
That's
Ohio
fair.
State, at Ohio State, at Ohio State,
Uh-huh.
at Ohio State. Day one, Urban won. So if Day wins next year, might be the best Ohio State coach of all time, possibly.
All time, I don't know. You got Tressel, you got Woody Hayes. All time, I don't know. But between those two, obviously he's compared to him a lot. You definitely got to give him the edge. I mean, he's
100%.
won more. He has not bad losses. He wins another one all day. I'll take it.
Can we also just talk about the gear? The gear looks pretty sweet, if you ask me. The championship
I'm
gear.
trying to stay. 47 sent me the text today. I got money burning a hole in my pocket. I'm so scared.
After they won, I got 47. I got lids. I got Fanatics. I got the Barnes and Noble store on High Street sent me an email for gear. They actually just got the shirts in today. I didn't buy one yet, but and since I brought up the gear, I want to bring up this. I did not buy one piece of gear this whole playoff run. Didn't buy anything for the first round. Didn't buy anything when we went to the Rose Bowl. Didn't buy anything when I went to Texas for the Cotton Bowl. Didn't buy anything before the national championship. Now I'll probably go back and buy something from each one. But
yeah,
I think it was I had to stay as superstitious as possible. And I wore the same hat and the same pants and the same shoes. I switched jerseys depending on what color we wore.
Same.
But I had to stay the same way. And it 100%, me personally, as a very superstitious person, it paid off. I think it paid off.
So I'm usually not superstitious. I decided to rock the jersey. I don't know if it was I think I wore one earlier than the Rose Bowl, but decided to rock the jersey, ended up going matching what the team was wearing. And
100%.
wearing my lucky socks. And it worked. And it was great. It was whether I was at home, at the bar, at the Rose Bowl, didn't matter. But my laundry in my building is broke. So the jersey wasn't ready. The socks weren't ready. And I kept that shit on lock. I wasn't going to tell anyone if we lost, it was my fault. But I was scared. So I walked in a completely new fit for the national championship game. And it worked. Yeah, I was so scared.
I personally did not do that. I wore the same hat, same everything. So I'm glad we won. I would have blamed it on you if I do that.
Oh yeah, I was scared. I didn't want to tell anyone.
But I'm happy the outcome. Now, we were both, we had three of us in three different states watching the game. What was let's go from beginning of the day to end of the night. What was your throughout the day game plan for how you were going to watch the game and how you watched it?
So my mom, I'm her golden boy. I'm the oldest boy. I'm her favorite. It's safe to say. So she called me as soon as the Texas game was over, almost crying about the Jack Sawyer scoop and score. Like, she was so happy. Like, where are you going to be? Like, if you are in the state, I am watching the game with you. I'm like, okay, pull up. So my mom and my sister drove down. I worked. I tried to stay off my phone as much as possible and carry on business as usual. So that was difficult to do.
Very
Made it through work. My mom and sister pull up. It's like negative 10 degrees in Chicago. It's like negative 20.
Yeah.
I think I actually got frostbite on my ears today.
Oh, no.
We walked to Old Crow. It opened at 5. It's usually not open on Monday. It's a big Ohio State backer bar. We get there at 5:24. It's packed. It's already packed. We missed the memo. We were going to get food there. I'm like, oh, shit. I knew my mom and my sister wanted to have a couple drinks. They needed to drive home. I'm like, oh my God, like, we got to go to Chick-fil-A. Like, we pivot. We end up going to Culver's, a main staple of the Zolnarek household. Me and both of my sisters.
Question mark?
Double butter burger with cheese all day long. With the cheese curds. That came to be almost a problem later. Me and both of my sisters. Me and both of my sisters worked at Culver's in high school, so had to stay close to home. Get back to Old Crow, stand the whole time. Moose was there, Looney was there, Stolly was there. Ran into a bunch of people. Another shout out for Ohio State. It's just different here. They say that about the SEC.
100%.
No matter, everyone I see that I had a class with, that was obviously in my fraternity, in my business fraternity. You see everyone, and it's like it's truly family. Like most of my
100%.
friends from around here hate Ohio State. My dad hates Ohio State. Most of my friends, like Chicago, I would say is honestly like a Notre Dame town. Northwestern doesn't do that
That's
much
what
for
I've heard.
people.
I hear that's very big there.
Oh yeah, so Old Crow is like it's like going home. People actually like me there. So it was just an amazing experience. We got out the cold, we get to the bar, and it was amazing. Like everyone was hugging. A bunch of this random guy hugged my mom after the game was over. It was like, oh my God. Carmen, Ohio at the bar was beautiful. My heart
The
rate
best.
peaked at 168. That was kind of scary. That shouldn't be happening.
I gotta check back on my watch and see what it said on mine.
It was insane, but it was amazing. I mean, it was crowded. Only wrong side there. There was a DJ there. Usually they play the game sound super locked in. Now they were trying to play some like bullshit remixes over the game. The whole bar started booing the DJ. Everyone was dialed in. The vibe was great. And it was a good day. My mom had a great time. My sister had a great time. Like they were ready to go, and we had an amazing time. I mean, you were on campus, so I can't imagine the stories that you have.
100%.
It was good it was good in Chicago. We held it down.
I'm glad you were able to not only watch it with your family, but also watch it with all other Ohio State fans, and you weren't locked in your apartment watching the game where you be pacing back and forth every 2 seconds.
Oh, it would have been so bad. And like other people were texting me. Like I said, most of my friends, like they like when I lose because I freak out. So it was nice it was big to be amongst friends. Like for the most part, like that was a big reason I went to the Rose Bowl and like wanted to go to the other games is to be by my people instead of by the haters. Yeah.
Always. I can definitely get into how my day was. Started like any other game day. I woke up early. I'm too excited and nervous. Woke up nervous. I was excited. I woke up before some of my friends and everybody that I was going to watch the game with. I was nervous. I was excited. I watched some tape before I got my day started. I was nervous. I was reading Twitter. I was reading too much. Then you're gonna call me a little crazy for this, but usually most game days, at least when I'm on campus and it's a little later in the day, I work out before the game.
Respect. No, we would do group lifts before block.
Yeah. I lifted before I went out. I lifted because I have to do my part. We're all part of the team.
Got to be ready to go.
My part. And then I showered, got ready to go, got the jersey on, and I decided I was going to go to the North Bars to watch the game. More sitting, I wanted a chair for this game. I didn't want to stand the whole time. Wanted a chair. So we went to Library Bar. If you listeners are not familiar, it's by Threes, right next to Cottage Inn, Jimmy John's, and the Domino's Pizza. And
a North Campus staple, yes.
It's campus staple for sure if you're a North Campus person or you just like going to the North Campus bars. So we decided we're going to Library Bar. I was with my girlfriend and my buddies Carter and Logan and a couple of their buddies and also our friends Colin and his girlfriend Ashton. So we're all there watching the game. And Logan's girlfriend was not there actually. She went to Atlanta to the game. She got lucky and was one of them. She got a ticket from somebody so she got one of the tickets from somebody for face value. So she got very lucky. So we were watching with basically our same group of people. And we got Library was opening at 2. And I didn't know they were opening at 2. I thought they were going to open at 3 right when Beat the Clock starts, but they opened at 2. So we got in line. It was a little long. There was no seats. We couldn't sit down yet. So we were like, okay, let's go sit down. Let's go down in the downstairs area and see if we can maybe get a seat. No seats still, but there was a group of 6 people sitting at the bar downstairs. And they were like, oh, I think we're going to one of the guys turned to me and goes, hey, if you wait 5-10 minutes, all 6 of us are going to leave. We're literally going to go to Threes right now. I heard the line wasn't busy. So we're going to go there now. And you guys can have these 6 chairs. We're like, awesome. Sounds good. We'll stay right here. They leave 10 minutes later. We have 6 seats in a row with literally sitting this way, TV right up. It was perfect.
Hell yeah. That's amazing.
So, and I forgot getting a drink until Beat the Clock started. I forgot getting a drink because I wanted the deal. I wanted the deals. Um, so we're hanging out. I was getting a little antsy and nervous. I was a little bored up until game time, kind of,
Oh
because
yeah,
the
it was
nerves are in your
crazy.
head. And I tried to stay off my phone as much as I could because I didn't want to kill my battery, especially if we won. I wanted to film everything. And so, same as you, they had a DJ playing, but he's actually a friend of. I know him. He's a good DJ. He was playing music, kind of keeping the vibes uh, up until kickoff. And literally right before we ran out of the tunnel, they turned it off.
Hell
But
yeah.
they turned up the DJ, turned up the sound. But the thing that I did like before we ran out of the tunnel is the DJ played Hell's Bells right before we ran out of the tunnel. So the whole bar is playing Hell's Bells before we run out. We run out, boom.
Awesome.
It was awesome. It was a friggin' surreal experience. You're like you said, it's quite a family Ohio State builds when you're on campus. It was a crazy feeling just sitting there watching the game. Um, and we're all getting excited. We're getting, oh my gosh, like that flag, or we're all yelling at the TV. So that was a crazy experience, and I think there was a minute and 50 seconds left, and it was kind of when the nail was almost in the coffin about that point.
Yeah.
And actually, let me go back. I went a little too far. I jumped ahead too much. A pregame. This is a seasoned individual right here, especially at library.
Okay.
Pregame, we're playing cards and stuff, and we're like, we're gonna be drinking and watching this all night. We're not gonna have time to eat.
Hmm.
I forgot I had a $25 gift card to Jimmy John's in my wallet.
Ooh.
Ordered on the app,
Uh
used the
huh.
gift card, had to pay little bit more because we did like a group order.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend, shout out her, left the bar, picked up our sandwiches, brought them back in. So we're eating, playing cards, trying to stay loose. We're playing war. We're playing Egyptian rat slap. We're just trying to stay loose, try to ease the nerves. And we're eating the sandwiches. And that was a huge play. That paid big
Oh yeah.
dividends later in the night.
Clutch moment
So
for
back to
sure.
what I was saying. At the minute 50 seconds left, they said the bartender who was down there. She said, "If we win, everyone gets a free glass of champagne."
Hell yeah.
Who
That's
doesn't
awesome.
like that? So I think they were like, "Oh, we kicked the field goal. Kick the field goal to like extend the lead even more." She starts opening the bottles, starts pouring them in the glasses. It was a surreal experience, uh, hanging out with everybody, and we're hugging each other. Like we're all like, I'm almost in tears, like because of how
Yeah.
happy I am.
Uh huh.
Obviously, you both. People that know Michael and I, we both were raised Trojans our whole life, and we've never experienced anything like this in college football. And
Yeah.
to me, this was one of my like reasons why I came to Ohio State. I wanted the big school, the big football team, the good, academics, and we have all three of those, and this solidifies it even more of why I came here. We have a great football team, and it was a experience I'm obviously never gonna forget. I'm
Yeah.
hugging my girlfriend. We're super excited. We're pumped. My two of my best friends here, Logan and Carter. Two first guys I ever knew on campus. We're
Damn.
celebrating. We're hugging each other, and it was unreal. Like, and I couldn't believe it because it's like you're hugging strangers after you win too. Like, dude, we
Yeah.
won! Like, I can't believe it! And like you're cheersing and high fives and everything. It was crazy, and like I'm looking at people like I'm looking at like my friends like this is exactly why I wanted to come to a school like this. You want these types of experiences. It was surreal, I'll tell you that. And it was probably around 10 when the game ended, 9:30, 10
Okay.
maybe. Maybe I
Yeah.
think if I could be wrong.
Probably like
And
11 your time.
maybe 11 my time. Yeah, maybe 11 my time. I'm a little sleep deprived. It was a long night of partying, enjoying the
That's what I'm
win.
waiting for you to get to.
So everyone's like, "Do you want to Uber?" And I was like, "Let's not Uber. It's gonna be a mess. Let's walk. Like, it's like a 5-10 minute walk. You'll be fine." First of all, it was freezing. Bad call on my part, but
Bad. Yeah.
we but it was a good call because every student that was in a bar flushed out of those bars. and we're taking over High Street. It was
Oh yeah.
awesome. I couldn't believe it. I have a bunch of videos. Maybe I'll compile a little edit for us of all the videos that I took
Yes.
through the day. And I'm like, we're running, you know where like the B-dubs is right there on North?
Yep.
I'm running
Mm-hmm.
and like, I have a video of myself running and I see two people fall and I go, oh, two people fell. And I keep running. I just kept running. And you get to about, I think where the Qdoba is right on 15 or on
Mm-hmm.
High Street. And there's one guy, he like runs past everybody, and he's got a big Ohio against the world flag. So he's just like waving it around, pumping up. And then you get to like where the Newport like music hall is,
Uh-huh.
and there's this just gigantic crowd of students like celebrating. There's beer going everywhere. There's the flags being raised. It was unbelievable. Then we decided, let's stay out, let's keep partying, So we go to Ethel. Shout out Ethel and Tank.
Yep.
Maybe give us a sponsorship if you're looking for sponsors. We go in there and I walk right in, and they, instead of just like, oh, like Nux, blah blah blah, walking into the bar, there's like two of the bartenders are standing on top of the bar, have like open bottles of champagne, they're like pouring it in everybody's mouth. It
Oh
was
my God.
awesome. And then they got to a point where it's like it was so packed in there, and were so pumped up that they took a couple other bottles of champagne. It's like if we were in the locker room. They like unscrewed it, they're shaking it everywhere. The champagne's going everywhere. I got it like in my eye, like the champagne was in my eyes. Like I felt like I was one of the players in the locker room. It was crazy. And I was just like, I don't like, because like I didn't want beer the whole night. Like my stomach was already in a shambles after the Jimmy John's and all the beer from the day. So I was like, let me go ask this bartender, see if I can get a bottle of champagne, if they're gonna give it to me or not. And I was like, can I get a bottle of champagne? And he was like, they're not for sale. I go, I don't care how much it is, just charge me for it. He was like, all right, $20. I go, deal.
Big baller.
$20. Why not? You only live once. You celebrate, right? So
that's awesome.
I got the bottle of champagne. We're drinking it. My girlfriend and I shared it the entire night. It was the sweetest tasting champagne. As in it tasted like victory. It tasted like everything from the ups and downs to this football team this season. It tasted like victory. And it was the most surreal experience. And also, it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. I was in complete shock. I had never experienced anything like that. Now, I personally did not. I know a lot of people who did. I'm not going to name names just in case they get in trouble. But there was a lot of people that I knew and that I'm friends with who broke into the shoe. Everyone was running through the shoe. I did not. I was already too far from there. But also, not only that, but I'm also not going to name them just in case a group of individuals sees this. But a very good close group of individuals between you and me and Michael, we're all affiliated with. There was some lighting. They were lighting couches on fire.
Hell yeah, they were.
It was quite a scene. It was quite a scene that they were lighting couches on fire, and it was just I couldn't believe it. It was honestly one of the coolest days I've ever been a part of as a student at any school that I've attended. And I couldn't believe that. Especially in my second year, we won a national title. I'm here for
Jeremiah Smith's first year.
I'm technically here 2.5 more years. I could get 3 more titles in these next couple of years, which would be awesome.
Hopefully, a couple wins versus Michigan in there at some point. That'd be nice also.
Hopefully. That would be nice also, yeah. I couldn't believe it. It was the most surreal experience ever. I didn't know what to do. I was just too excited. I have so many videos. I like woke up with a smile. Honestly, low-key, you're going to think, oh, you must have been exhausted this morning. I'm exhausted right now.
What time did you get to bed? What time did you get to bed?
I think I got to bed around 1:30, 2 o'clock. Pretty reasonable.
But the game did start early, so a good total, definitely a lot of hours of drinking, but a decent bedtime, so I'm proud of you.
100 decent bedtime, and I woke up at 8:30. I just sprung out. I was too happy. I woke up at 8:30. I was on my phone and I think I like scrolled edits and Twitter and pictures of everything that we won, stuff like that. And I was watching that for like 3 hours and I was looking at gear. Oh, am I gonna get this? Am I gonna get this?
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm personally not gonna buy anything yet, because shout out a very big wrong side fan, Nancy Shcharber, said
Let's go, Nancy.
the game, before the game, I think it was a couple days before the game, I said to her, she goes, "Are you sad you're not going to Atlanta?" And I said, "Yes, I'm super sad." But she
Uh-huh.
goes, "Yeah, but you're probably saving money." I go, "Yeah, I am." And Carter, my buddy, said, "Hey, I know we're not going to Atlanta, but the money you were going to spend in Atlanta, use the money on gear if we win." I go, "Exactly." So I
Exactly.
told my mom that. And she goes, "Okay, fine. We can take you on a Pretty Woman Day to go you some national championship gear." So shout out her on gear getting to that. But it was an
Let's
unreal
go.
experience. I can't believe it happened. It sucked to go to class today. I had 2 classes today. I think that's
Boo, that
cruel.
sucks. Yeah.
It was brutal. These are the worst times too. I had a class at 12:45, and it was a Zoom class, and the professor it was just like you couldn't see a screen, so it was like spotty, and I was just like, all right, I'm leaving this one early because
Yeah,
I
no
was just
shot.
annoyed. And then I had a 5:30 class tonight.
That sucks.
It sucked. It was terrible, but we fought through it, and it was unreal experience. I can't believe it, and I'm even more excited because I don't know if we talked about it before on the show, but I am currently a Nike U Move partner, student ambassador partner, and they said that our job as student ambassadors will get even more exciting and a little bit harder if we win. So hopefully, maybe I'll get some gear. Maybe I'll get some Natty
Dope
gear.
gear. Let's
That would be
go.
maybe I get some special gear. That would be sweet. I'm head to toe right now in Buckeyes. I have my Ohio State colored shoes on. I got the Buckeye Nation shirt on. My same game day hat as always. But it was just an unreal experience. Obviously, I wish I could have been in Atlanta. That would have been an even
Yeah.
crazier experience. But I think being on
Campus is better,
campus
man.
was
You're a
100%
student.
the move.
Yeah.
Maybe if it
Bino,
was like
shout
my
out.
senior year, maybe I'd go.
Yeah.
Like it would have been better for me to go. But being on campus second year, you can't beat it. You can't beat it at all.
Oh my God, that's like the reason why you come to Ohio State. That's what college is all about. Shout out Anthony Gambino. He went to every game in this playoff. Dear God, paid a pretty penny to go see the Buckeyes win 4 games in a row. He is one of the most critical Buckeye people, maybe on the planet. Big
He
McCord
definitely
fan, but he
is.
was able to make
And
it to every single game. And I think campus was the move for sure, especially in your second year.
100%.
Yeah,
And let's go back to the Beano thing for a second. I think he was with his girlfriend, correct? He was with his girlfriend for the game.
yep, mm-hmm.
He was with his girlfriend. So shout out her. They actually got to
Sophie,
finally
yep.
watch a game. They got to watch a playoff game together, and it was a win. And I know he was there for the tragedy on midnight in that stadium, but now he got to see a win in that stadium.
Retribution
So,
in Atlanta.
right side there.
Yes.
I still can't believe it. I still don't think it's real. I did, and I personally didn't do it. So shout out to her. Shout out to my girlfriend. She ordered me a couple copies of the newspaper.
Oh, that's
for
awesome.
us winning because they couldn't find them. Kroger was sold out. Everywhere was sold out.
It's taking months right now.
They're not going to be here till March, but it's so worth it. And going. I'm gonna take one of the copies, and we'll probably get it framed, and it'll be hung in the Shcharber house somewhere, and probably in Michael and I's bathroom because it's Ohio State painted. And
Perfect.
he also sent me a Sports Illustrated cover, and it's the Q running into the end zone with the defender on the ground. And I think we're gonna get that also framed, and put that one right next to the Zeke one that we have.
Yeah.
When he's running into the end zone. So it's a cool little thing there. It's surreal. I can't believe it. I don't know what else to say about it. I just can't wait. I can't wait for next year.
6 weeks till practice start. We're focused on Texas now. I mean, we could talk about this all day.
Focus on Texas again.
This is a special team. It's a special group of seniors. Ryan Day, He has got to the mountaintop. We could talk about this all day. I know we are
We
running
definitely
crazy
can.
long right now, so we'll
We
cut
are
it
running a
here.
little
We're going to
long.
kick it to Michael, who's doing a little solo shot while he is at work to give his recap of the game before we go to NFL. We'll go to that now.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Joey, Jake broke down a lot of the Natty. I know they got majority of it. I wanted to hop on quickly, give my quick thoughts, 5-10 minutes. Apologies. Busy season has picked up. I'm unable to be there all the time now. Jake will be doing a great job filling in for us, making sure that everything runs smoothly if I'm unable to be there the next couple weeks. But amazing night. We recorded half of the episode before the game, and we got the other half done now. The Ohio State Buckeyes are national champions. What an experience. What a game. Luckily for me, was able to leave about 40-ish minutes before game time. Drove home, had a great time doing that. Got there right after the first drive, right after Notre Dame was about to score. And first thought was, oh my God, like how did that just happen? For me personally, my first thought was I wasn't even worried about the 7 points. I was more so worried about the time. I figured if that's what they're going to do all day, 10 minutes, that's going to really affect our game. They might Michigan us. How will that work? That was my main thought process. That being said, after that moment, Ohio State stepped up in all facets of the game. Chip Kelly running the play from the Alabama Natty that they did against us in 2020 was phenomenal. The defense started to step up. Offense kept going. Last time a national championship game started with 3 straight drives and 3 straight touchdowns was the last time Notre Dame was in a national title game against Alabama. 2012 lost. So kind of interesting fact there. But to me, unbelievable game. The third quarter, again, Ohio State wins the third quarter. I've been preaching it all year. 10-8, they won that one. It was a little scary at times. I know we got up 31-7 and gave up 16 unanswered. I did get worried when it was 31-23. I know we needed one more. But at the end of the day, Ohio State came out when we needed to drive most. They did it. They drove down the field. The will bomb to Jeremiah, I thought, was incredible. The guts it has on Chip, the guts with Hartline, the guts with Ryan Day. It was incredible. I watched the breakdown a little today. Haven't had a ton of time to watch full highlights yet because of how busy I was. I actually had to work after the game last night, and now I am working as I currently am recording this, but wanted to get in my quick thoughts before we kicked it over to the NFL. But that being said, I saw the breakdown of the 2 straight QB, not sneaks, but runs, basically baiting the Notre Dame defense to send the house and get us that one-on-one matchup on Jeremiah on the outside. Biggest play of that possession on that play, yes, obviously was Jeremiah pass, but the block on that third down play by Travion picks up a great play, great block. Wasn't really his day with big rushes at like the last couple of rounds. It was Q's day, but a huge play, huge momentum play, boosted Ohio State to the national championship win. And honestly, with the score, whatever they covered, the Ohio State one was great. Personally, I thought you couldn't write a better script at how it ended. A field goal chance to seal the game away in Atlanta. We've joked about it for weeks, how we had to exercise our demons every single round against old teams, old foes, old stadiums, old moments, old jerseys, and a kick to win it in that stadium after 3 years ago as the clock struck midnight. And it happened. It happened. Jaden Fielding stepped up, knocks it through. Ohio State wins a national championship game. And incredible. My breakdown of it, just about 24 hours since the game, I think there's a lot of good things. One, this senior group was resilient. They had a lot of failure in their 4 years and a lot of close chances to make a moment, losing by 3 to Michigan, 6 to Michigan, a lot of small moments that really, I think, help build this team up. I think it's very rare. The last 2 years we've seen it with Michigan and Ohio State. You have a group of seniors that take you this far. Usually it's a lot of underclassmen, juniors that kind of dominate. And the core group of seniors stayed together. They worked hard. They won the game. And I couldn't be happier for that group of guys. Obviously, Ryan Day, I'm going to get to him in a second. But that group of seniors, man, it's a team you're going to remember forever. I truly believe that. And I know almost all the guys' names on the team. And truly, I think one of the best seasons I've ever watched as a sports fan. And I love sports, as everyone knows that. But to me, getting the chance to watch them raise that trophy after everything was not emotional in some sort. I would say that it was just so incredible. I saw the way they acted. You saw how hard they worked, and they just dominated from start to finish, from Tennessee to the end of 4-0 against Notre Dame. It was their playoff run. Ohio State is championship now, forever immortalized, and focused on Texas, as we've been saying every single week. For the next game, we're focused on Texas. I'm not fully focused yet. I'm going to enjoy this one for the rest of the week, I think, maybe a couple weeks, but incredible win. And now time for myself, I think, to give some flowers. I'll start from the bottom and go to the top. The coaches, Justin Fry, I hounded you for months. Bad recruiting, couldn't develop guys for years. And I really thought you were the problem. You were the only coach that didn't get extended other than Alford last season. When contracts were up, you were the only one. You're going to be on a 1-year deal. And not only are you going to have Josh Simmons, who got hurt and is going to be a first-round pick, but you also developed another one in Donovan Jackson, maybe the underrated MVP of the season for what he did. 1 pressure allowed, unbelievable, just incredible job, I thought, by him. Justin Fry, if you can, I'm not nitpicking you. You developed an incredible line. I think you put us in a wonderful position for next year. 3-4 guys that got rotational minutes for the last 5-6 games of the season is going to be a huge, huge benefit for next year's team, the O-line, and Julian Sands. So Justin Fry, congratulations. You're a champion. You proved me wrong. You're a hero in my book. Jim Knowles, thank you for saving the Ohio State defense. When you came in, it was a mess. We were scoring 40 points a game and giving up 45 points a game. We lost the Georgia game in that stadium 42-41. We lost big games giving up 40 points. And you saved us. Your scheme, your plan, your mentality, you worked together. Larry Johnson, another shout out on the defense side. I know there was some miscommunication in the early stages of both of their tenure, who was going to be controlling most. They worked together. They dominated. They got everybody in line. The safeties have gotten better. Cornerbacks gotten better. The D-line was getting pressures all season. Incredible job by Jim Knowles. On the offensive side of the ball, Chip Kelly, you saved your best for last. Everybody was calling for your head again for another team after the Michigan game, but you stepped up. You saved your best for last. You won us a game. Brian Hartline, continue to be you. Keep recruiting these guys. You are a wizard. I hope you also never leave us. You will be a great head coach one day, but I hope it's one day replacing Ryan Day and not somewhere else. So I pray that one day you will be the Ohio State coach 15 years from now when Ryan Day goes down as one of the best coaches in Ohio State history. Ryan Day, the GOAT, my favorite guy. Obviously not the GOAT in Ohio State history, but right now my current GOAT. Somebody who has exemplified adversity, battled through critics, battled through the lunatic fringe, battled through some of the darkest quote-unquote days, and it doesn't even sound that dark in the grand scheme of all of sports, darkest days in Ohio State history. And it didn't matter. To me, Ryan Day is resilient. Ryan Day is a national champion head coach. Ryan Day put himself and this team in a spot to win, and he's a leader of men. I saw something today that almost shook me to my core, and we know how much Ryan Day is such an advocate for mental health, and obviously the story about how his dad died. But what I didn't know is that on the 20th, the game day, January 20th, was actually the 20-year anniversary, or I'm sorry, not 20-year anniversary, it's 12. It's been since 1988, so 36 years since Ryan Day's dad died. 36 years later, Ryan Day raises the trophy on this anniversary of his dad's death, and an incredible moment for him, his family, his wife Nina, his kids. I was thinking about his kids all day today and his kids yesterday, and how they suffered after the Michigan loss. And it was terrifying to hear. And I hated hearing that. And I hate the people that were doing that stuff. And I heard that they had security at their house 24/7 for weeks after the Michigan game. And that family is resilient. And the Day family, and Ryan Day, you're a leader of men. And anybody who ever wanted you fired is an idiot. And you deserve to be the Ohio State head coach. You're a hero in my book. You've gotten a national title. And you're going to get that last monkey off your back. I know you will. You have it in you. You're an incredible head coach. This team, this city, this this group of fans, we're all behind you, and we always will be. And I hope the lunatic fringe that was calling for his heads, and I'll say it, I was defending him for a long time, saying, who else are you going to get who's better? And they said, let's get Dion or Kirby Smart or Dan Lanning. Just ridiculous ideas. And I said, why would you do that? Let's keep it out. Ryan Day is putting us in these spots. We're going to break through one of these days. And you broke through, man. You're a hero in my book, and you're a legend in my book. Have a great day, Ryan Day. You were a hero. To the seniors, resilient, great. To Will Howard, who transferred here from Kansas State, who a lot of people counted out in the offseason, you're incredible. College football record to start a game with completions, highest completion percentage in Ohio State history, incredible. To Jack Sawyer for keeping this team together. That article in the Players Tribune, shout out Derek Jeter, was one of the best sport articles I've ever read. I truly believe it. And hearing that story about the other Jack Sawyer, the young kid who passed away a couple years ago, and your tape, it's why you love sports. It's why I love college sports. The stories, the fans, the family, everything about it. You're incredible. Jack Sawyer, you're a leader. JTT, you battled through a lot of injuries towards the end of the season. Battled through 12 and a half sacks this year. Incredible. I heard Emmanuel Ocho say something today, and he's terrible. I hate all shows he's on. But one thing he said was, this team was humble, and they wanted to do everything in their power to get where they are. And he said it perfectly. Travion Henderson, most rushing touchdowns in Ohio State history as a freshman. Guess what? He's okay. Bring in Q. Let's get this running back room better. Emeka, never the number one guy. It didn't matter. Let's get better. Now he's second all-time in receiving yards, most catches in Ohio State history, and he had Jeremiah, who was getting most of the love. An incredible leader for Zone 6. Incredible. You have so many guys on this team that are going to be remembered forever. I can't wait to see what they do. This is a group of guys that I hope the Cowboys draft. I hope all have great careers. I hope go on to do big and better things, whether it's in the NFL or outside in life. This is a group of guys that will always have a special bond. The ring lasts forever. Banners are forever. And you know, we joked about it for a year now. We're almost coming up on a year on the podcast. And I was always Team Natty over Michigan win. And a lot of people call me crazy. And maybe that's the wrong mentality because you got to do your goals. I get it. Beat Michigan, win the Big Ten, and win a national title. And I know we've missed on, I think in those 4 years, we were what, 1 for 12 technically in the last 4 years. But this team finishing with a ring is the best feeling, in my opinion. And I think that they deserve every bit of it. And yeah, it's going to be talked about that, oh yeah, Michigan beat us. And they did. We're going to have to get that Michigan monkey off our back, and it will come off soon. I believe it. Kirby Smart was 0-3 against Alabama before he won his national title, and then he started winning games. It's going to happen. We're going to get back there. I know it will, and I know that game does mean a lot, but banners are forever. And as Nick Saban said a couple weeks ago, Auburn beat Alabama the year they won a national title. It didn't even matter. Nobody even remembers that. So I understand the game is important and it's the best rivalry in sports, but a ring, you ring me. Congratulations, you beat us. Enjoy your 8-5 season. Enjoy all of that. You're no longer defending champions. The crown is ours. And Ohio State, you did it. Shout out to Jake for being on campus. I know he had a great time. I really haven't gotten to talk to him much, but I saw some videos and some great pictures. Joey had a great time at Old Crow. Moops and I got to watch the game together, which was great. Kept the tradition going of the whole playoff run all season. My parents were here. Everybody was excited. Can't wait to buy a lot of gear and spend money on gear. Can't wait for all of that. That's going to be awesome. But incredible season. First season of Wrong Side, first national champion. Maybe we're the secret. Maybe we were the secret. So shout out to Ohio State. You guys are resilient. I said it 50 times, and I wonder what this is going to sound like with just myself for 15 minutes. I truly am curious. But resilient group of men, your national championship, no one will ever be able to take that away from you. Go be great for whatever team you're on. Jerry Jones, I know you're in the process of hiring a head coach that's going to miss, but please take a couple Buckeyes. They won't do you wrong. This team was special. We're going to be talking about this team for years. it makes you emotional thinking about this team. And I just can't wait for my kids to have an opportunity to see something like this and be a part of this great fan base. So, Ohio State, you're national champions. I love you guys. You're champs. Keep it going. We'll be there. Texas week 1. We're going to be focused on Texas in a couple weeks. Spring ball is starting really soon, which is definitely a problem with this schedule right now. But get ready to go. Relax. I hope the parade is awesome on Sunday. I hope everybody goes to that if you're in Columbus. Amazing, amazing, amazing game. This team, I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Ohio State, national champions. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to the players' families, to everybody. If you're listening to this, anybody else, any new listeners, if you want to buy a piece of gear, buy it. If you're torn between, oh, maybe I have too much stuff, may I recommend maybe throwing an extra 100 at the foundation or the other NIL funds we have. Let's keep the money going, keep everything going with this team. We're going to be here for a while. And the Big Ten is here to stay. I'm so excited. Notre Dame was a great team. Marcus Freeman did amazing, but we had him spinning. Every interview he did it felt like he was shell-shocked the entire game. And Riley Leonard played hard, but not good enough. And Ohio State, you've done it. You've made us all happy. You've made us all proud. Feels great. National champion. I was so happy wearing my polo to work. Can't wait. So thank you guys for an incredible season. I can't wait for the spring game. I can't wait to see the 2024 on the row of the stadium next to 2014. And let's go get another one. Let's go defend this crown. Let's go get another one. Let's show out why we're Ohio State. So shout out to this team. Shout out to this fan base. Shout out to everybody. Ohio State winners. Ohio against the world forever. Now we're going to kick it back to Joey and I for NFL, breaking down the rest of the episode. Have a great one, guys. Happy Wrong Side Wednesday. Go Bucks. Now coming to you with the rest of our episode. At this point in time, we have not played yet on Monday night. If you're watching the YouTube, Joey and I both have hats on. It's early Monday morning, trying to get some recording in before work, before we both go into the office, trying to get ahead for the week. But who knows how the first 30 minutes of this episode are going to be when we get to this point. But at this point in time, we're confident, we're excited, but we had some other stuff to talk about from the rest of the week. We're going to dive into the NFL, and we're going to go from there. So NFL started this week, the divisional round. What a game. I thought 4 really good games, complete turnaround from the wild card weekend of like every game basically being shitty in my opinion. I felt like every game was good this week. We started off Saturday with Kansas City versus Houston and Washington versus Detroit. So we'll start in the morning. Kansas City versus Houston. Thoughts? Mahomes and the Chiefs going to their 7th straight AFC Championship game, the Arrowhead Invitational. What do you think about the game?
It was mostly how I expected. Now, I will say, of the 4 games this weekend, this was the one I probably paid attention to the least. It was kind of in my head a foregone conclusion that Patrick Mahomes, the bad man, would prevail and that he would be moving on to the Arrowhead Invitational. And they look ready to roll. Every year around this time, the Kansas City Chiefs, Mahomes starts flopping, Travis Kelce starts turning it up, and the Chiefs keep winning football games. So I don't have a ton of breakdown on this game necessarily, but they're right where they need to be. I tried to trick myself into liking the Chiefs by taking a future on them to win it all. I think it'd be sick if they won it 3 times. I have no true love or hatred towards the Chiefs or their players individually. I'd say I'm a Kelce guy, but they're just annoying. This game especially goes to show the refs are really on their side. There was a late hit at the end of the Rams-Eagles game on Stafford. A lot of people wanted to call. Mahomes is getting that call. So Chiefs look ready to roll. The stripes are in their pocket again, and the Chiefs move on to the AFC Championship game. I don't think there's any glaring things they're missing. I think they're putting all the stuff together at the right time as they always do, and they're looking like one of the strongest teams in the conference as they have all year.
They've played the exact same way all season, and that's with defense leading from the front, in my opinion. I was in the hotel watching this game Meg was out meeting a resident from the Charleston hospital, and I was watching, and I was doing some work. Obviously, I had to get some work done for real life. But when I was watching, the game was actually, I thought, a very good game, a very good defensive battle. At one point, it should have been 13-13. Kai Fairbairn misses the extra point. Even before that kick, he missed a longer field goal earlier in the game. It could have easily been 16-13 Houston. And with 5 or 6 minutes into the third quarter, it easily could have been Houston up. But kicking got themselves in a weird spot. Then they gave up a touchdown late, and then obviously the weird safety where like the kicker ran out of the end zone to waste of time.
Yeah.
But Houston was in it. I didn't think CJ played terrible. I thought he actually played pretty well. I was texting Dean watching the game, and it was very reminiscent, obviously not points and score wise, but of the Georgia game where he started realizing he had to use his legs, and he used his legs very, very well, which I love seeing from him. I think he's always had that in his game, but came up short. The ref situation, I felt like league-wide, the refs were terrible this weekend. I mean, they continue to be
agree.
bad. It's truly remarkable that these are like the best guys we've got. I'm not in for replaying every single play and second. I'm not in that, but there should be a way that we can review something. Maybe it's like a pass interference or like a face mask. The amount of calls every game wrong is remarkable to me. It doesn't matter who's playing.
Are you familiar with the Super Challenge?
What's that?
I think it's from the XFL. They were talking about it on Pardon My Take a couple weeks ago. You get one per game, and I think I'm assuming you'd be able to keep it if you get it right. But it's an opportunity for coaches to challenge literally anything. Spot, penalty, was there not a penalty called? So started in the XFL, because I agree with you. There are some that the refs aren't going to get everything right. They're human, but there's just some egregious ones, just some clear bias being shown that having some sort of check for that, even if it's just once per game, some of these things happen in huge moments. So something like that would be sweet.
It was, there was some there were some really questionable calls in that Chiefs game. The flop one that was all over Twitter, obviously there was no flag on that one, but he slides, the Texans players go head to head on each other and get a roughing the passer. Or a personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Will Anderson hits him while he throws, unnecessary roughness. A couple on the Chiefs, motion that were just really ticky-tack, I thought. The refs are bad. I don't know why we can't figure this out. I really don't. It's bad, everything. And at this point in time, we mentioned already, we don't know how the game is going to end tonight, but last week in the Notre Dame game, last week versus Penn State, we have the same ref crew tonight. We're going to have the same crew as they had last week. Last week there were 24 penalties called.
Yeah, there was a lot.
So I don't know. There's some groups that call a crap ton. There's some that never do. I don't know. I just think it's bad. It's inconsistent, but the game was good. Mahomes was fine. I don't think he was all worlds, didn't have to be yet. To be honest with you, I didn't think other than really Jaden played a great weekend of quarterback. We'll get into all the games, but no quarterback really dominated. Josh and Hurts both won their games with less than 200 total yards. Mahomes didn't play incredible, I would say. Did he have, maybe he had 200 something yards, but it didn't feel like it. And Jaden, that's what I'm saying. Jaden's the only one where I was he kind of had a really good game. Let's see Mahomes' stats. 177 passing.
Wow. The stat of the game for this one, 8 sacks. CJ Stroud got sacked 8 times for 58 yards. So you said defense leads from the front. It's really easy to just not be not give up 8 sacks. I know the Texans O-line, we've been kind of talking about them for a while now. And time for playoffs. Chiefs are obviously a great defense. And CJ had to use his legs, or it would have been 10, 11, 12 times. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
But you're right. We've been calling out from the beginning that it was Caleb, then CJ all season 1-2 in sacks, and you saw it again. And that's not a team you want to give up 8 sacks to, where it's going to hold you in an awful position. But Kansas City moves on, 7th straight AFC Championship. They're going to be playing Buffalo, which we'll get to at the end of this segment. But next game, Saturday night, Washington versus Detroit. In my opinion, an awful scenario, I guess, either way for you. For your
I'm pissed off. I'm very upset
either
about
way.
this game.
Either way, very bad experience for you. Either Lions go to the NFC game or Jaden Daniels does. Personally, I didn't want the Lions to win either, but I was kind of rooting for them because I obviously am not going to root for Philly and Washington. And for me, I have worst case scenario now. This is worst case scenario NFC title game because it's going to be someone from the NFC Beast. I'm sorry, NFC Beast.
Yes.
But what a game. I saw a lot of Detroit media saying it was the worst Lions loss in team history, which is kind of crazy.
I don't know.
They called it one of the biggest eggs in Detroit sports. The NFC Beast is back. Goff was horrible. I mean, actually miserable. Bad look for Ben Johnson going to his best play and Jameson Williams throwing a pick.
Pissed me off. I'm out on Ben Johnson for that.
I thought it was a great game from Jaden. I thought Jaden was fantastic. He was calm, cool, composed. He had some good passes. They kind of out Dan Campbell, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like they went for on fourth down. They were doing everything. And it was a great game. They dominated from start to finish, it felt like. They had the pick six. They played well in the second half. I think at halftime I was out at a bar with some friends in Charleston, and we were looking at the live over-under was 86.5.
That's crazy.
It got pretty close. I think it ended at like 79, 80. So what a game.
76.
Yeah, 76.
76.
I remember I know it got close towards the end, but yeah, unbelievable. What a game for the Commanders. Congratulations to Jerry Jones, the longest drought now for an NFC team in the championship game goes to the Cowboys and Jerry Jones. So congratulations. My one little Cowboys rant I will give on this weekend, it's going to be very quick, is that the reason Jerry Jones is the reason he still is because of how the media was this weekend and how like Twitter was this weekend, in my opinion. Every moment they could, they were making fun of the Cowboys. He doesn't even care that they're making fun. He just wants their name in the limelight. And I truly believe
all press is good press, right?
Yeah, right. That's all. That's truly what I believe is that he didn't care that his name was getting dragged because at the end of the day, what was talked about? Oh, Goff looks like Dak. First of all, Dak's never had a game that bad in the playoffs. Oh, Dak this, Dak that. Oh, the Cowboys are longest drought now. Cowboys this. That's the reason. I truly I know that sounds crazy, but I truly believe that's why Jerry is the way he is because he doesn't care. You're right. Good press is all press is good press. So that was my Cowboys rant. But Washington, what a game. What are your thoughts?
Pissed off, very pissed off. If it was like you said, bad case scenario for me, it's either a divisional foe or Jaden Daniels. Was he? I think he was the number 2 pick. I think Drake May was number 3. I would have preferred to see Detroit. Because in my mind, looking at them all year, the Bears are not competing with Detroit. Detroit lost like 2 games all year. The Bears won 5 games, so they're in different classes. I'd rather see the rookie quarterback lose and toss up a stinker in the playoffs and be like, oh, he's still young. He's not ready. It was a good year, but it's not all that. Instead, he was 22 for 31, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, had another 50 yards on the ground, and they just had it the whole game. Take away the fact that Detroit had 5 turnovers. It just seemed like the whole time they were playing super soft coverage. Washington was able to get pretty much anything they wanted. Any 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9. There was just a guy standing still in the middle of the field. Soft coverage from Detroit. I know they've had a lot of injuries, so a disappointing end to the year, yes, but it's not like you were walking in full strength. Obviously, they've been missing half their defense for a long time now. But 5 turnovers in a playoff game is just brutal. 3 picks from Goff, 1 pick from Jameson Williams, and then another fumble.
I think I saw 5 people had a pass attempt.
Yes, 5 people had a pass attempt. It was
we even
Jared
saw
Goff,
Teddy.
40, David Montgomery, Teddy Bridgewater when Goff went down for a little bit, and Jameson Williams. Brutal. Talking about Ben Johnson I think it was the Week 18 game. Yeah, it was the Packers game. Keenan Allen threw a pick on a similar play. Yeah. You do the double reverse to a wide receiver and they throw it, and it looked like the same play. Maybe they were trying to impress
Ben Johnson. Maybe they were trying to impress him. Be like, hey, look, we can do this too.
But in terms of the fact
that Johnson's subtle way saying he wants the job. That was his subtle way of saying he wants the job.
A love letter to Chicago. Just a fucking stupid-ass offensive play. Both Keenan Allen and Jameson Williams didn't even look like they were like, fuck. threw it, like easiest pick ever. So I don't know how that can get called. Jahmyr Gibbs, shout out Jahmyr Gibbs, 14 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Unreal.
And not 6 receptions, 70 yards receiving. So great day for him. David Montgomery a little slow in his first game back. But I don't think the Commanders can win. I don't think the Commanders can win. They shouldn't be this good. I don't get it. Their defense is like, they still give up 30 points. They were just luckily able to score 45. Brian Robinson, he looked more explosive than usual. I thought he had a decent game, and the Lions just shit the bed.
Not bad either.
Yeah, Zach Ertz scored a touchdown, another a longtime NFC beaster. But I can't like Jaden Daniels. He's too cool and composed. He's good. I think the Bears still would have fucked him up. It's not a Caleb versus Jaden thing. It's all the Bears' fault. I've been very clear about that the entire time. But
could be Mahomes, could have been Montana, could have been Brady. You've always said it.
But now we're not competing with either of these teams. Is the NFC North frauds? The NFC North is now the SEC in theoretical matchups.
Yes.
Now, like, that we can't win in the division. The division's not even good. Another team has lapped us in the rebuild process. The Lions obviously have been poverty my entire life. Suddenly they're perennial playoff contenders and like number 1 seed contenders. The Commanders have also been dog shit. They get a new owner, and within 2 years, they're on their way to an NFC championship game. So it hurts. It hurts to see. Football makes me sad most of the time. Hopefully, I'm in much happier spirits in the first half of this episode after Monday night's game. But that game, it was a great game. Obviously, the high-scoring game of the weekend, like, looked like a college football game. But, man, as a Bears fan, that one hurt.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Caleb was taking a lot of heat. Not even Caleb's fault, but just 1 versus 2. Yeah. You said it's not that, which it isn't from your end, but like from a Twitter engagement farming stand, we did have like it was 1 versus 2 conversation. So very interesting. Commanders in the playoff in the NFC game versus the Eagles. I just can't believe that happened. I can't believe the Lions got outmanned that way, outplayed that way. It was just destruction top to bottom. But to be honest with you, I saw this exact same game for the Cowboys last season. Dan Quinn had a foot out the door to whatever job. He half-assed the defense. We looked like crap last year against Green Bay. And this year, I think Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson had a foot out the door. They were both ready to go. They're both ready to go, and they both were not focused, and that was part of it. I truly believe that. And I was making fun that after that game, after giving up 45 points, that Jerry Jones would hire Aaron Glenn. That would be his hire. Like, it would be like, I thought I was going to wake up today and see it. But whatever. Saturday's game were great. Then we moved across just down the road to Philly.
One more question on Detroit. One more question on Detroit before we move on. They're likely losing 2 coordinators. Their quarterback is 30 and just threw up an all-time stinker in the playoffs. Their defense was injured most of the year with their star young defensive edge rusher and Aiden Hutchinson with a brutal leg injury. Aiden Hutchinson?
Hell.
Exactly. Is the window for Detroit closed? Are they going back to poverty in the next 2 years? Fuck.
No, they're still a good team. Sorry.
No, I don't think. Well, I mean, I honestly, we will see what they do with the coordinators, but
like, I think there's a better chance Minnesota falls from grace to Detroit right now.
Probably. Yes, they just have more dudes. But yeah, I don't know. That was that game. The Packers losing was one thing. The Vikings losing also one thing. This was different. So we'll see what happens, what the coordinators look like. But yeah, okay. On to Philly. Philly.
Weird back and forth. The snow definitely was the one that played a major factor in this game. In the second half, it was starting to really come down. I felt like in the second quarter, but in the second half, I don't know. I watched a lot of this game at the airport, and I was kind of locked in on it. Saquon is incredible. He is incredible. Yeah. He's carrying this team on his back offensively, in my opinion. I was giving Hurts his flowers a couple weeks ago, but I really think I have to maybe bring it back a little because I don't think Hurts is like, I saw like the memes have been great of like him like pushing that like Hurts helping this team get to the next round, and it's like everyone pulling the truck like from the bottom like with a rope, and he's like pulling it from like the back window, like not doing anything. But Saquon was great. Jalen Carter, absolute game wrecker, unbelievable game. Stafford, I felt like still played very well. Their rookie center was getting worked all game, which is part of the reason I think they lost because Stafford had no time back there. McVay continues to show that he's like it just like the Rams are a very interesting organization in my opinion. They won the Super Bowl going all in, basically like no picks, no nothing, doing all that. Took like a mini rebuild. I don't know if I'd call it like a full rebuild, but like a mini rebuild. Like got some had a hit on later round draft picks, had to go a different route in the plays, and they got back to the division round with ease. Like still with Stafford, still with Puka, like a very good organization. McVay continues to be in these games. They were in the game. That was a great throw and catch to Puka.
Crazy.
But I mean, like, but you know, unfortunately came out on the wrong side of it. But Philly wins. I definitely think it would have been all hell broke loose if they lost that game. Sirianni would have been a dead man walking, and it's gonna be Washington versus Philly in the NFC game. I can't believe it.
Yeah. Time for your pain and misery there. I wanted the Eagles to win. I think they should have won. Yeah, Hurts may have not lit up the stat sheet, but 15 for 20, pretty efficient day. You're completing 75% of your passes, no turnovers, and obviously like 70 yards, 2 on the ground, and a touchdown for Hurts. But Saquon, obviously the story, he sits out week 18 to not compete for the all-time single-season rushing yard just to go off and have 200 yards in the playoffs. So he's focused on the right things. I think he's been obviously a great addition in terms of like stats and yards and touchdowns, but just in terms of a pulse setter in years past, what they had kind of done to shoot themselves in the foot, they get away from the run. They rely too much on Jalen Hurts, and it goes poorly for them. When you have DeAndre Swift, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, and a couple other kind of B, C-list running backs, it's easier to go away from the run game. When you have Saquon Barkley averaging 7.9 yards per carry in a divisional playoff game, you're going to keep handing him the rock. So from that, and just as well, I think Saquon's a good vibes guy. I know he's gotten frustrated in New York before, but obviously he's ecstatic to be in the position he is in right now. So this signing couldn't have went better for them. They look great. If they're able to lean on that, and the defense looked good too, forced 2 fumbles out of Stafford, recovering one of them, and a couple interception today as well. No interceptions, but a couple close ones. I know the weather played a factor. Winner of the weekend, the weather in that game and the Bills game.
Yeah,
a lot going on, a lot of weather games going on, and it was
good
cool
football
to see.
aesthetics.
Good football aesthetics. Maybe not the cleanest game. Some people kind of slipping around, going slowly. We're not seeing athletes at maybe their full strength, but a different type of athleticism playing in the snow. So Eagles move on. I thought they were going to lose that game there at the end.
Me too.
Call it a bit of an uninspired drive there at the end. They could have maybe put it away with the offense on the field, and they give Stafford the ball back. Stafford probably no longer at this point, but he had a lot of game-winning, game-tying fourth-quarter drives. Even with the Lions, way back in the day, he's always been a gamer, and giving him the ball that late in the game is a recipe for disaster in my previous life. So they went 3 plays, -3 yards before punting the ball back to the Rams, and the Eagles pulled it off. So it was a good game. The link was bumping. I know everyone was excited to see the Eagles win, and it should be a very interesting game against the Commanders next week. I know it was close during the regular season, and I'm very curious to see how this one turns out.
Yeah, I think they split the regular season. They're obviously the Washington's win was against no Jalen Hurts. They brought in Kenny. It was the game he was in. But should be a great game. I know you're obviously rooting for Philly. I'm rooting for Washington. I cannot root for the Eagles. I'm rooting for the AFC now. Like realistically, I'm rooting for the AFC. So I mean, like,
I just don't think you can want another team. The Cowboys aren't in the same tier as the Bears. Obviously, this year was a down year for the Cowboys over the last few years. But you really want to root for another team in your conference to get. The Eagles have been good.
Well, I'm not rooting for either. Like I would prefer Bane to come out and blow up the field, but I can't. That's not going to happen. So. Might as well root for like the team I hate less, I guess. Like, I don't know, whatever. I'm rooting for the AFC. To finish up the weekend, instant classic, Buffalo versus Baltimore in Buffalo. What a game. I felt like this was arguably one of the games you're going to look back over the year, maybe the last couple years, in a game where both QBs needed it. Both QBs needed to win.
Bad.
Both QBs needed to get past this round. Both teams needed to get past a mini hump. Lamar obviously has his moments that he's faltered in the playoffs. Josh, he got knocked out of the divisional round the last 2 years. but both good teams. They're both right there. They just can't get over the hump and beat Kansas City. And they both needed it. I thought both teams needed it. And
Bad.
I only watched about the first 5 or 6 minutes of the game. Then I got no service on American Airlines flying to Dallas. Then I watched the entire second half. So I watched the entire second half, but I missed the middle. So I missed I think I turned it on at halftime. It was 21-10, I think was the score at the half.
Yeah.
So I missed Josh had 2 runs, and I know Lamar had the pick, and I heard he got a fumble by Hamlin. Congratulations, Hamlin.
Yeah.
But Lamar, 2 awful turnovers, put them in that spot. But I don't know. That. Here's my opinion. Obviously, I have it firsthand experience with Dak. When Dak has been in these games and has when Dak has been in these games and had 2 turnovers, the defense has also given up 35, 40 points. And they stunk. They've been in a spot where they're dead. He had 2 turnovers, and the defense kept them in it very well. It seemed to be that they were in this game, and none of their touchdown drives were of that long of yardage. Josh only had 165 total yards. I know James Cook had 100 yards, but they didn't have that much offense where it was 500 yards of offense, and they scored all those points. So Lamar's defense kept them in it. Derrick Henry was incredible in the second half. He had, I'm pretty sure. Let me just confirm it. I'm pretty sure he had over 90 rushing yards. And if he did, let me see.
I got it up right now.
No, he had 84.
84.
Okay, so they said
84. No.
They said the Ravens, when he had his 90 plus yards this year rushing, they were 11-0 this year with 90 plus.
Wow.
So they didn't win, obviously. Didn't get it. But 2 big plays of the game, in my opinion, outside of those turnovers. I mean, have the worst day of your life, Mark Andrews, at the worst possible time.
Oh my God, yeah.
He had he had a bad start in the beginning of the season with just not getting targets. He was a waste in fantasy. Just what Isaiah Likely was kind of outplaying him. Then he ended up leading the league for tight ends and receiving touchdowns, which was huge. And I mean, that was 2 plays that unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That fumble. I don't know why he went that way, first of all, on the fumble. He had just turned right. He tried to make this weird cut. And the 2-point conversion was terrible. It was terrible. I mean,
the most unfathomable drop you can think of. Well, Isaiah Likely also
Play
ended
worked.
up leading the team in receiving. Play worked, open, on time, on target, wasn't slipping, just dropped it.
Did you see that? Did you see that he's done that before against Pittsburgh?
No.
There's a play, I don't know if it was earlier this season or last year, where he does the exact same thing. He trips on himself and drops an easy one going in 2-point conversion. It's the exact same play. He drops it. Same exact thing. Terrible.
Wow.
I don't know. Lamar, it's brutal for Lamar's narrative. He just can't do this. But we're going to get Josh versus KC. It's going to be another battle. Obviously, I think people want to see Josh win because people are obviously tired of the Chiefs. But Josh has it worked cut out for him. I think the Bills lost Rapp in this game, and the other corner, both guys got banged up in this game against Baltimore, which is going to hurt them. Hubbard, I think, is their linebacker who came back. He's the one who knocked it out against Mark Andrews. Was a big return. And they have to find a way. They're going to have to find a way and grit it out. This might be a game where you need 21 points to win, which is kind of crazy in the NFL, in my opinion. But I think you're going to need 21 points to win. So, race to 21.
Maybe a little more. I think the Bills' defense is a little shoddy. We've seen them have to score 40 points to win a game multiple times. I think it was back-to-back weeks against Detroit and Minnesota, even the powerhouse NFC North again. But their run defense in particular has been questionable throughout the year. Derrick Henry, he got the carries. Once we said he didn't even get to 90 yards, I was going to say, did they go away from the run as we've seen Baltimore kind of do in the playoffs in past years? 30 carries total, 16 carries for Derrick Henry. To put that in perspective, Saquon had 26, I believe. So did they go away from it? 16 carries is still a good amount of carries.
How many the Eagles have? How many the Eagles have total?
Let's see.
Like, because, like, 26 definitely to 16 is a lot, but, like, 34 to 30, not much
34
different.
to 30. Yeah. So it was just the game of turnovers. I think Lamar had a pretty funny press conference. We've seen him, like, he shows his personality when he's up there. Like, I like hearing Lamar.
He took the blame. He took the blame.
He took the blame. He seems to have a good relationship with the media, but he was just like, damn, man, like, every single time it's these goddamn turnovers. Like, sorry, like they're just so fucking annoying. And that's what it is. Like you said, the
you feel
defense
for the
kept them in
guy.
it. They
You
only
feel for the
lost
guy.
by
Yeah,
2.
like,
he had a pretty good day, 18 for 25, 250, another 39 yards on the ground. So 2 bad turnovers. Obviously, I think Mark Andrews more at fault than him, but Mark Andrews, again, he led the league in tight ends. Does a game really come down to 1 or 2 plays? This one, you could make an argument it comes down to 1.
Yeah,
it comes down to 1. But for the most part, there's always other things you can do. So that's one of, like, the first things you're taught as a football team. Like, even if it comes down to that, there are other plays you could have made throughout the game to not make it come down to that. So tough day to be Mark Andrews, but obviously he's been a stud for them for a number of years now. So we'll see if he's able to bounce back next year or what happens there. But the Ravens are still exactly where they're at. I don't know what you would do in terms of, like, roster reconstruction or, like, not a lot of changes to make, but just Lamar had a great year, an MVP caliber season of not a lot of turnovers. And then they show up in the playoffs. We've been saying it all year. When is one of them going to falter? And it's not like he had a 3-4 interception game, but it was enough to lose. So Ravens are headed home. Bills are on to take on the bad man at the Arrowhead Invitational. Josh Allen is back, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be another instant classic. It's going to be an instant. Yeah. Those two teams battle every time. I saw, Jay Kuda, you know who that is. He's the guy who always posts like the random like sports facts and like, they're both 1-1 against each other and in these weather environments, like, that guy. But yeah, last 10 games, playoffs and regular season for the Chiefs Bills. Okay. 5-5 wins. Points for each team, 251, same number. Points allowed, 251. God. Literally the exact same. So
that's crazy.
Unbelievable. And like so
Allen
weird.
versus Mahomes in the playoffs has gone over 50 points 3 times. 1 for 51, 1 for 68, and 1 for 84. So I think this is going to be a lower scoring one. Like you said, the Chiefs have been playing a lot of defense this year, but they light it up every single time they play, it seems like.
Yeah, it's great. You're getting into the better part. I mean, we'll see. I mean, we're unfortunately, like, betting favorites. We're on pace for a Super Bowl rematch again, like Chiefs-Eagles.
There's no way the Eagles can. Never mind. I want them to get there so bad. I forgot about where we're at.
I'm just saying, like, betting favorite-wise. Like,
yeah.
That's who, like, it is, and one of my buddies made a good point. He said, wouldn't it be funny if the Chiefs won again against the Eagles and their 4 Super Bowls with Mahomes were against two teams. They beat the Niners twice and the Eagles twice would be, I guess, kind of funny. But yeah, we'll see next weekend, next Sunday, championship weekend. We'll see. Hopefully we can like watch with some smiles. I keep saying that because, who knows how this morning episode is going to look at the end, but going to be a great weekend. And yeah, great weekend NFL. Very, It's been a bad product for 18. What are we? 18. So it was a bad product for 19 weeks this year. I'm glad it was a good product for the 20th.
Divisional round, always good. 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. All great teams, usually not a lot of stinkers like the first round or the rest of the week. Before we get to our conversation about your trip and the residency conversation, one more thing about the Birds. Post-game presser, Saquon and Jalen Hurts, they were talking. Jalen Hurts got banged up a little bit in that game. His knee was a little hurt.
He did,
throughout the whole game. He was still able to run and like finish the entire game. And it's like, oh, how's it going? The reporter's like, hey, Jalen, like, what can you tell us about that knee? How you been? He's like, well, we don't know yet. We'll get it checked out, but just glad to gonna go celebrate this win with the team. And she goes, oh, like yeah, okay. Are you okay? Just plain and simple. Are you okay? He goes, I finished the game. So, and she's like, huh, weird. Like, you're okay? He goes, I finished the game. Like, that's all I could say. So if you were okay, like if I'm in that situation, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like, yeah, like I'm like good, ready to go. So something to monitor.
I think he has a bad relationship with the media. Because like when he had that big game,
he was the media's darling for a while.
I know, but then he had that big game a couple weeks ago where he like threw for 300 yards. He's like, so that's what you wanted to see, right? That's what you guys were all complaining about. Like, all right,
Maybe he's
bro,
turned a
you
corner.
gotta,
I
you
know.
got, you got Avengers on your team. Like, relax, just hit them in stride and put the fries in the bag.
AJ Brown had a couple of bad drops. Maybe you should put down the book and pick up the jugs
Yeah,
machine.
Frank
Last thing
the
I'll
Tank
say.
said he should. Frank the Tank said he should read How to Catch a Football.
Yes. Okay,
Funny.
so that's football. Obviously, a lot of football. Shout out the Buckeyes again, either way. But diving into life outside of football, Michael over the weekend, him and Meg took a trip out to Charleston and Charlotte,
Yep.
to check out some hospitals, check out the cities, potential moving. The first few recruiting trips for these guys. So just overall, high level, how was it? What were you guys looking at? Was it all business? Was it a lot of just sightseeing, or were you guys like hammering out a to-do list? How'd it go?
Definitely was not all business. We probably should have taken we did all the business stuff, but probably should have prioritized the business stuff. I don't know. So I flew overnight Thursday, landed Friday morning, worked all day. Didn't, obviously busy season had to work. So I was working literally from like when I landed at like 9 a.m. till like 7, 8. So like a pretty long day. Like,
Yeah.
I even felt bad that like that was happening. And during the day, we went out, we grabbed lunch like in Charlotte area with one of her friend's moms. That was great. Saw a little bit of the area, did that. Then I worked the rest of the day. Friday night, we went out to dinner with one of her friends from college and some other residents. They weren't OB residents, but just residents at the County Medical Center. They were super nice people and met them. And then we just kind of drove around, got some dessert. The next day in Charlotte, we had breakfast. We saw some part of the areas in Charlotte. Really nice. I didn't really know much. Charlotte to me is a kind of a out there place. I've never been there other than like a connecting flight. I've never left the airport. But it was nice. City was really up and coming, very business centered. A lot of young people. I saw a lot of girls walking their dogs, husband and wives walking their babies, guys running on the street. A very young crowd. I was very surprised. I was asking all of her friends or her friends' friends that we met that night at dinner, how is it? Do you guys have a lot of friends outside of medicine? Is it easy to make friends? That's one of my biggest fears, like with all this is like making friends and having friends. And they were like, oh yeah. Like one of them was like, I got a bunch of friends outside of medicine. A couple of them was like, oh, like, I have a couple friends as well. And that was good to hear. I was asking them like what they do on like what do their friends do like on the weekend? Like, do they hang out with their friends? Like, for me, this whole process, it's, you have to start being okay with being on your own and doing a lot of stuff on your own and making new friends on your own. And that's what I'm trying to feel out. Are these cities good for that? Are they bad for that?
Right.
And, the city looked fun. Obviously, the Panthers are there and the Hornets are there. I found out there's a AAA baseball team there. So, like, there's sports to do, which I'll enjoy. One of the girls I was asking, I was like, do people play softball here? And one of the girls was like, there's softball fields by my apartment complex. There's games always going on. I was like, okay, cool. But, a little tentative even leaving after Charlotte. Really liked it. Nothing bad to say, actually, about it. But still tentative because, like, I've never been there. All the places we've talked about, I've been to, and I'm not like too worried. I know my way around those places. But just still like you're tentative, and she's tentative too. Even though she really likes Charlotte, she's tentative too about it. So that Charlotte was great. We drove to Charleston, super easy drive. To be honest, I think the Charleston hospital. I think that's a pro for being in Charlotte. Was like we were so close to Charleston. Like I told her after, I was like, I don't know if I would like. I thought Charlotte was. I've never been. I don't know if you have.
No.
But Charleston, unbelievable. Great party scene. Ton of young people. Awesome. Very felt like it was going to be very touristy, but like it was like right under touristy. Like still people that live there. A lot of young people. Cool bars. Great time on Saturday night. Some bars. Meg and I went to this awesome restaurant. Like Meg and I said it's one of the best meals you ever had together. Like we've like it was just like this great meal. Like awesome meal. But awesome. Like very fun time. That being said, we both kind of agreed like it was very cool, but not sure it'd be a top place we'd want to live. My personal opinion on it was that I think Charleston is actually a pro for Charlotte. That like you're that close to it, like you're only 3 hours, like you can go down for the weekend or like go down for the day, or like I think that's a big pro. Like I don't know if I would want to live in Charleston, but great experience. We saw the hospitals, we saw people that she needed to see. We ended up running into some friends that we knew. Another couple that was there that weekend that Meg and I are friends with was there that weekend. I ran into a buddy from high school that I don't see that often because he's serving in the military right now. So he was out there. He saw my location.
Oh, wow, nice.
Here. So that was fun. But yeah, great weekend. Good experience. She's going to Boston next week. I won't be on that one. I'm not going on the rest of the trips. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. The next time I see her will be the week of match week.
Wow, that's intense. Coming up, what, middle of March, early March?
Match day is 2 months from tomorrow.
Wow, counting down the days. So, yeah, so it's funny that you brought up baseball because I was going to say good time to be a Panthers-Hornets fan, but what would you do about watching baseball? So good to know that there's some minor league baseball and softball in there. Maybe get close to friend of the program, Tyler Snepp in the Greenville Drive, just maybe in the same conference. I don't know how minor league baseball works. But I think it's interesting what you said about making friends. It's something that I've had to like kind of work on a lot too. Even moving just like an hour away from my friends. Like I've talked about, like I have a really close friend group from home. We've all been friends since like early childhood, and moving an hour away, like the weeknights get very slow. Like a lot of my friends are here on the weekends and that's great, but just on a random weekday, like we don't got plans. We got a couple people that were doing trivia, but now it's cold and we don't really want to do that. So now over time, like some of my older friends have moved down here and I've had more friends around, but it's kind of like beginning of college. Like it's easy to make a big college feel small. It's not easy to make a small college feel big. So I think like Charlotte and Charleston are both good sizes, but a lot of making friends and social life, it's going to be like on you. If you're moving to a new city, if you're moving to a new neighborhood, no matter like how big of a scale you want to put it on, I think it's a super valid concern and something that I think you've always been good at. So I don't have any worries for you, but I think it's definitely a good thing that you've been considering. So the city sounds like good vibes. Both sound like good places. How is the weather? Like temperature, humidity? For the record, it's a real feel of -14 in Chicago right now. So give me some good news.
Yeah, it was. It actually was kind of rainy a little both days, which kind of sucked, but not awful. Like it was like 55, and then this week in Charleston, it's supposed to snow. They said now it's gonna be like the first time it's supposed to snow in a while. So I think it gets down to probably like the 20, 30s, but that's probably the lowest it gets, and pretty good weather the rest of the year, which is kind of nice. So weather wasn't terrible. Even the weekend, we were expecting even more rain. Like it was saying like 90% heavy rain all day. And it was just like a light drizzle or not a light drizzle. I'd say it's a medium rain on our drive from Charlotte to Charleston was the worst it got. Other than that, it wasn't awful.
Not too bad. So the cities sound good. I know obviously like that's what you're looking for. You're not going to do residency or do a hospital. A PWC office there versus Orange County probably is fairly similar. As far as what Meg knows about the hospitals, how are those stacking up in the rankings? Was her experience positive while you guys were there? Where is she at in, not to say this is the serious business, but it kind of is the serious business of why you guys are looking into that stuff. So what did Meg have to say?
Yeah, I mean, Meg loves Charlotte. I think Charlotte has a very good chance. I'd say probably betting favorite to be here number one right now, if I were to guess. Okay. But I'd say she still has a good mix of other places. But she loves Charlotte. She really does. Charleston, she loves as well. She's been before to both places. I hadn't been to either. But Charleston, she kind of was the same agreement of what I thought, like, I don't know if you could live here. But that being said, like, she loved both hospitals. She loves the opportunity. I've not been to a lot of hospitals in my life, but the Charlotte Hospital in Carolina Medical Center was fucking massive. It was huge. They were like adding on another wing to it. It was incredible building. The Charleston one was also very nice, but a little smaller because Charleston a little smaller than Charlotte. But Meg loved both. She met with a resident in the OB department from Charleston and her friend from Carolina's Medical Center. But both great conversations. I think she likes both of them a lot. It's just now she's at a part where she has to kind of make that list. And we were talking on our way home from Charlotte to Charleston, just like talking out, spitting ideas, pros and cons of each city. And it's kind of the same group of places I would expect, kind of what I was guessing on. But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. She leaves for the Dominican Republic for a service trip for school for a month on February 3rd. And she wants to have her list in before that. So she really only has about 2 weeks before she has to get everything in. So it's going to be the next 2 weeks, a lot of conversations of order and stuff like that. So let's see. It's going to be very quick. It's going to start rolling fast.
Yeah, time's flying. I said before, too, that Maddie and I really spent a lot of time this weekend looking at apartment stuff, and that feels like it's coming, and that's like late April, early May that we're looking at that, and I've already moved before, so just to think about all of the different things that you guys have to consider is crazy. It's a stressful spot to be. I know, like, you guys are doing all the right stuff to think about, but it is a very stressful spot to be, so I very much commend you, but glad recruiting trip 1 went well. I know you said Meg has a couple other ones lined up before she's out to the DR for a month before matching. So that'll be a great opportunity for her too. But maybe we get her on before then to talk about how the other recruiting trips are. I know Boston would be high up on your list, and I think that'd be a great city that I'd love to go to too. So sounds like things are going well for you.
Yeah, going well. She's made it this far. She's excited. She's nervous. It's going to be a stressful couple months. I kind of told her I'm happy. First of all, I'm not happy. I'm very nervous she's going to the Dominican Republic. But I'm very happy she's going to be busy for the month and a half leading up to match day. I think that's really big. Sure. 'Cause she has some friends that are just kind of like chilling, and that would be miserable. I think for her, especially, I think that would be the worst spot ever for her to just be thinking about it 24/7. But I'm glad that she's busy. I'm glad that she's taking one more class, and she's got a 2-week rotation when she gets back from the DR before that. So, she'll be busy. It's going to be good. And we will see March 17th. So less than 2 months to when she finds out if she matches, 2 months from tomorrow where she matches. So big dice coming up for Miss Halloran.
Let's go. It'll be awesome to watch. We got a lot of good content going on. I mean, hell of a Buckeye season to have. We're coming up on year 1 of Longside. Hell of a year football wise. First 12-team playoff. A great, not a great NFL year, but a dramatic NFL year across the board, to say the least. And just some great life experiences out of Michael, out of stuff that we're doing. So feeling fortunate right now. So I know we're running a little long right now. Glad to see you guys are on the up and up, and looking forward to hearing what else you guys have to say. But now we'll break for our ad read on our clutch moment of the week. Our clutch moment of the week is brought to you by Schorr Metals, big enough to serve you and small enough to know you, serving Southern California since 1970. See Stan, he'll help you out. Michael, who is your clutch moment of the week?
Clutch moment of the week goes out. I mentioned it in my story about this weekend. Brett Bailey, my buddy from high school, reaching out, saw my location, got to meet up with him. I had a great time. We hung out at the bar for like an hour with even some of Meg and I's friends that we knew. But I had a great time. I love seeing him. He's a guy that I got along with him. I've known him probably since Little League, so like 5th, 6th grade. Wow. So I've known him a long time. And we played travel ball, our first travel ball team together. We were like 10 on that first travel ball team together. So we've known each other for a long time and don't really see him as much because he's out serving right now. He comes home right around Christmas, and he said he was maybe coming home even this next Christmas in 2025. We saw him a couple weeks ago. Got to see him again. Awesome experience. Glad I saw him. Good moment. Clutch moment, Brett. How about yourself?
Great. Shout out, Brett. Very wholesome. Mine is not necessarily very wholesome. So watching Scott Van Pelt, the Sports Center, after the Bills-Ravens game, and they always do interviews. They have a player call it or like zoom in, and Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts does it for the Eagles, a star of the team.
Sure.
They're talking, and I didn't realize that this player recorded, I think it was a big fumble. It was either a fumble recovery or an interception, but Scott Van Pelt, beautiful bald man, goes, welcoming on Bill's star, Damar Hamlin. So clutch moment of the week.
He caused the fumble.
Caused a fumble. I saw it. It's always shocking for me to see him on the field for some reason. I know he's been a starter for like most of the year with some of the injuries, but with how that game went.
Thinking about how he almost died.
Thinking about how he almost died. There was one play in the second half. Derrick Henry broke a big run up the middle.
Yes,
he broke a couple big runs up the middle on that drive.
I saw one.
It was tough. Probably like 3 or 4 plays in a row, or a tough drive for Damar Hamlin having to be one-on-one with Derrick Henry. There was one where his leg just like really practically kneed Damar Hamlin in the head. So shout out, forced fumble, star of the Bills, Damar Hamlin, for popping up on the Scott Van Pelt show. That was my clutch moment of the week.
Yeah, he had a great game. I like I told you, that was the first half, so I didn't really know that happened. And I was watching, I was on Twitter, and I was like, "Holy crap, Damar Hamlin did it!" So yeah, you're right. It like doesn't make sense that he's on the field, but good to see. But Damar Hamlin, Brett Bailey, clutch moment of the week. Now.
All right, wrapping up our special national championship episode with Outside the Line, starting out with Tone Deaf Person of the Week. Jake, who do you got?
Oh, I'm ready to go. My Tone Deaf Person of the Week really kind of applies to what was happening on campus at Ohio State this week. Not national championship related. It was my Tone Deaf People of the Week, actually, are all the sorority girls posting their day-by-day outfits for each event of Rush. I don't care. I personally don't care. I think it's annoying. I didn't want to see a million stories of what they're posting. I think it's annoying personally. I don't understand why it's so long, their rush process. It's nice when you're a guy, and fraternities, you just go in a basement, you talk to a bunch of guys, you get some free pizza, and you leave. It's so easy. I think it's super tone deaf that they have to post their outfit every week. And then the worst part, the extra tone deaf part, is they give you like this is from Target, this is from Amazon, this is from Aerie,
oh my God.
This is from
You're
Princess
not Alex
Polly.
Earl. It's from
You're
Target.
Not Alex
Jeez.
Earl. You're not,
yes,
any of these influencers. I don't care personally. Put it on your private story. Don't put it on your main story, or don't post a TikTok about it, because TikTok is public and everyone sees it. Yes. So tone deaf. So tone deaf.
That's a good tone deaf. Man, I haven't thought about like not to little bro you or anything, but the sorority rush process is not something I've thought about in a long time. So that's a very funny tone deaf, but very valid. I mean, sophomore year, it's the girls' first time being on probably second time being on the other side of it. I forget how it works. But
right.
The sophomores are always real into it. By the time you're seniors, it's a whole different world. So that is
100%.
That's amazing. My tone deaf person of the week is the TikTok ban that happened for all of about 5 seconds.
100%.
And I actually wrote this down. I wrote this down before it came back into effect. And I don't know the story. Based on what I've been told, Donald Trump's first term, he wanted to get TikTok banned. It didn't happen. And then Biden continued on it, pushed it through, and Trump in day zero brings TikTok back. So allegedly there were people calling 911 about TikTok not working. My sisters and my girlfriend were all freaking out.
Concerning.
People are crazy, man.
You want to talk about that? You want to talk about that?
Yeah.
The thing that's even more a little bit tone deaf, that not only that, and this is no hate to her because she's the best.
Of course.
My girlfriend was so distraught that TikTok got taken down for whatever it was, the 12 hours or 24 hours, that she needed the scroll. She needs, the scroll, the doom scroll, that she downloaded Red Note.
No.
The Chinese version. The Chinese version. I was like, are you kidding me? She goes, it's awesome. I go, no, it's not. It's worse.
That's sick behavior. That's sick. I mean, I'm the same way. I'm an Instagram Reels guy. I deleted TikTok because it was getting bad, but I'd admit it. I'm an Instagram Reels guy. But we are
I was for the little part. I was for the 12 hours.
Oh, man. Joe Leo said it best. We as humans, we are all just monkeys with smartphones. We like making the little box play bright colors for us, and it was crazy to watch everybody freak out and definitely just go to the next quickest thing. So I'm no better than anyone. I'm still on Twitter and Instagram all day long, but my tone deaf was the TikTok ban.
Yeah, for sure. So right side, wrong side?
Right side, wrong side to finish us out. I'll let you go first.
Okay, I'll do my right side, wrong side. I'll go wrong side first. I'll go wrong side. I actually have two, technically. I have two wrong sides. Number one was not in Atlanta for the game. I really wanted to go. I was pretty distraught when I didn't get a ticket.
Yeah.
And plus, yes, we had representation on the ground for us. I'm not going to say we didn't. We had representation. He was there. Bino helped us out.
He did.
But after my little a famous TV couple of clips, I thought, Ohio State would see like, oh, this guy's right in the front. He's getting excited. Like, I thought they were going to give me a ticket. So that was wrong side number one. Wrong side number two was having to go to class today.
For sure.
In
What's
like,
the temperature in Columbus today?
well, it's a little colder now since it's later. It's 1 degree outside.
Yeah, Chicago. I had to go to work today. Yeah, what's your feels like?
Feels like -2.
Bro, it was feel like it's 2 degrees in Chicago, feels like -10. It was all the way down to feel like -17 today.
Like,
and I had to go to work and no one was there. I didn't have to go to work and pretty much nobody told me. I was wearing I was wearing Buckeye polo, Buckeye quarter zip, ready to high five. I was ready to high five so many people and nobody was fucking there. So for that part, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
I was pissed. But it's okay. We're here. It doesn't matter. Right side, though, obviously winning the national title, but also being on campus and being able to celebrate with all my friends. And
yes,
to be able to be on campus for it and be able to experience it in my second year with all my friends, it was a surreal experience. I couldn't believe it. That's my right side. I still can't believe it.
It's hard to put anything else at this point. I mean, it's a core memory just between being with all your like closest friends second year of college. There's nothing better. So seeing the different generations between me and Michael, you as a student, and even guys a few years older than us who hadn't seen a national championship, it really put into perspective like what Buckeye Nation and all that is. Sorry for the glazing if you don't like the Buckeyes, but man, it is different here.
Hey. I mean, don't hate us because you ain't us. That's all I gotta say about it. And
what the fuck they gonna say now? That's what Ryan Day's Twitter says.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck they're gonna say now? They're gonna give us one of those, and I can't wait to see what the ring looks like.
I know.
I can't wait to see.
It'll be interesting.
Wrap it up. I really want to know what they're gonna do with it. I hope it's something special. And very different from the first ring, in 2014. I hope it's different. I hope that
first 12-team playoff too. Maybe something crazy.
Got to be something crazy. I do want to touch on one thing. I know we're trying to wrap it up because it's going a little long, but one thing I do want to touch on I know he was on the roster, but do you think Devin Brown wants his rings?
Yes. Aaron Noland, I don't know, because he made the decision to leave the team. He entered the transfer portal and made the decision to leave the team. And I was upset about that. Devin Brown, he's such a Buckeye. We were doing quarterback rankings in the group chat today. Some people have Devin Brown as high as 4 in like the last 4 or 5 years. Some people have Devin Brown as high as 4. He's been like, he was a cornerstone for us. It's a crazy list. We'll get into that at another time. But
I'm gonna need that.
I think Devin Brown keeps his ring. Yes,
keeps his ring for sure. Now the guy who does probably was crying his eyes out because he wasn't there for one, and not only because he was kind of just a bust once he got into college, was Julian Fleming. You know he is feeling bad.
That's tough.
Wishing he got one of those. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm sure Devin Brown will probably want to ring. I just thought it was interesting because the transfer thing came out today.
Yeah, I really want him to go to Iowa. I like Devin Brown. Like he's just a great locker room.
That would have been such a
locker room guy.
That would have been such a Iowa quarterback type player.
It would have been great. I would have loved it. But yeah, I mean, what else is there to say, man? National champions,
national champs, and focus on Texas. That's all you can say. And I can't say it yet because we don't know who it's going to be, but we'll see who's behind center week 1.
Very curious to see that. So to put into perspective how crazy the Buckeye lunatic fringe, which is our entire fan base, we're already booking trip to Texas. We are already focused on Texas.
You don't have to
already celebrating the win.
You don't have to book the trip to Texas though, even though it's here. It's in the shoe.
No, I know. We're looking for tickets. Like we're making plans already. Like we're ready to go.
You're ready to rock for coming to Columbus for the game.
Yes.
I see.
But
I see
okay. My right side, wrong side before we finish. A couple things here, a little update on life. So, activities outside of drinking. A lot of people going on dry January. I'm not fully on dry January. The Buckeyes are playing, goddammit. But we went to an arcade bar, which had free arcade.
Ooh.
NFL Blitz, 4-player NFL Blitz is a hell of a game. NBA
Ooh.
Jam as well. I was not as good
NBA
at
Jam
that.
Classic. Love that. Love that.
Yes. And the Museum of Science and Industry. I felt like a 5-year-old again, but me and Maddie spent Saturday afternoon there, and it was a really good time. So activities outside of drinking are my right side, as well as Ben Johnson. I don't know what to think, but I think it's a good thing. I'm not going to break it down. It's what needed to happen. It was the only option. Everyone was asking me what else the option was. There was no other option. We'll see what happens. The Bears still piss me off. Wrong side. My laundry machine, the only laundry machine in my building, is broken, and I tried to do 2 different loads of laundry, and the Tide Pod exploded on shit both times.
Oh, no.
So I had to throw out a Justin Fields jersey, a Justin Fields Ohio State jersey, the one that I wore to the Rose Bowl. I had to throw that jersey out.
Not well. I was so honestly, sad. for the fans who weren't at the game, that jersey probably should have been burned after what happened at the Rose Bowl.
I had to cough.
There was an incident in the stadium, but we won't get into that one.
I had to cough. So yeah, that jersey got thrown out. I was hoping, and for the record, it has been sealed in a locked bag since the Rose Bowl. So this was me trying to work on the stains, and then the Tide Pod got melted to it, and it just wasn't happening. So
that's a bad
wrong side. Big pile of laundry sitting behind me. Need quarters. A lot of work to do. Got to get back to real life. As a national champion, still has to do their laundry. But life's good.
100%.
Life's good.
Life is great.
What a season to have our first year of podcasting. We go through obviously 100%. Long before college football season started, but on this track, we knew this was national championship or bust practically last March. So we did it. The season is over, and we are here.
And I think let's see if we did this correct. If I did the math correct, I think we did. We covered. I think we had 5 different states we went to for games. Technically, California,
Probably.
Texas, Georgia, Ohio.
Does Chicago count for the Wrigley game?
Yeah, Wrigley game 5. Illinois. Yeah.
There we go.
5 different states of wrong side podcasting and boots on the ground. So I think that's another milestone for us, especially in this year of football.
Yeah, I mean, the wrong side brand is growing. Happy to be here. Happy to be national champions. Football season is over. We'll figure out what Michael, Jake, and I get up to as we dive into college basketball and NBA season, the rest of what's going on. But the Buckeyes did it, man. We never thought we'd see it coming. This podcast has spawned from a group chat of me and Michael's college friends. We're all fans of the Bears, the Reds, the Packers, every team who loses a lot and loses in hilarious fashion. And the fact that all of our team, all of our wrong siders, the team finally did it, it's a very special thing. So I am feeling very grateful. Have a great day, everyone. Wrong side takes out here. That's all we got. Stay blessed.